All right, everybody, Arsenal fan circle here. It is it's disappointing podcast tonight. Arsenal 2 up at Old Trafford.
The
Usually,
game was disappointing, right? We won't have a disappointing podcast. Come on.
usually, if you score 2 up at Old Trafford, you might think you'll get a positive result, but that didn't happen today. Um, we gifted some goals tonight. We gifted some goals away. Yeah, we got some gifts, but we were the bigger gift givers tonight. So. Gary's going to join us soon, but I want to welcome Stan and Tony. Tony first, because Stan's gulping a beer. Tony, how you doing? How you
I'm,
feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm probably 85%. That's about as good as I usually get.
I wish Arsenal had performed at about 85%. We would have got a better result tonight.
I
Yeah,
wish I, I wish our striker would have performed at 85%, but
Yeah, yeah.
he at
I'm,
least got one in there.
I'm hugely disappointed at the result. I don't know why. I was really confident going into this game that
I
we
was
were going
too.
to get something out of it, maybe even snatch all 3 points. Because if you look at last season and the season before, I think that Arsenal had garnered a reputation with a lot of other teams, especially teams that were struggling and were looking for points, that they'd look at the fixture list, they'd see Arsenal coming up, and we would be identified as an opportunity for that failing team to nick 3 points against us. I honestly thought that we had turned a little bit of a corner there and
Hmm.
that the wheel had shifted a little bit and that Man United was now in that area. And I thought that we were definitely going to be able to nick a draw, hopefully 3 points, but I'm sure that we're going to get into it. There's quite a lot of things to discuss. And I'd also like to add as well, I'm usually the kind of person that is really loath to looking at referee mistakes or VAR mistakes for our downfall. But I'm sure we're going to touch on this in more detail. I am really pissed off that that the VAR didn't take a look at what happened there with Tomiyasu just before the end of the first half.
I would. Okay, American sport here. They'll really get into this. I think there should be a situation where a manager or a coach can challenge something that's been missed, an egregious decision that has gone the wrong way or has not even been looked at. Throw a challenge flag and stop everything because they looked at a couple of things tonight and there's one or two they did not look at and happened to be a really blatant pull from Harry Maguire against one of our players, Tomiyasu,
Yeah,
in the
Tommy
penalty.
Ashley now has a 6 inch longer arm.
Yeah, well, he really got a good grab of it, Maguire did. So, yeah, want to get into welcome Gary here as well.
Hello, hello, hello.
Just getting started, Gary. So, listen, a few comments here. A game that got away from us due to losing the ball in key areas. We were the architects of our own destruction tonight. John Smith said, once again, we capitulated. Really frustrating because we were well on top the first half and seemed luck was on our side. Bamiyang, though, questions have to be asked. Partey gave the ball away too much. Two players you've named there, John. Aubameyang and Partey had particularly bad games tonight, I think. Evening ready as well. And BX Gunner, great to have you in here. Hello, all my peoples. Rady said, not too surprised by the result. We never turn up at Old Trafford when it matters. We've gone 3.5 years without being defeated by Manchester United. And I had a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. I thought the law of averages would come back and kick us. And it kind of happened. United lost two big games at home. The last couple of games they played, 5-0 to Liverpool and 2-0 to City. So they were always going to get a reaction. They were always going to come back. And as Stan said, we do seem to be that team that throws out some gifts. We are that blip in the schedule that teams seem to look for. But listen, before we get into it really deeply, I wanted to just say a legend, an Arsenal legend, passed away throughout the week. Ray Kennedy, an Arsenal legend, a great architect of a double winning team in 1971, scoring the header that would ultimately win the title at White Hart Lane. Yes, we have won the title at White Hart Lane more than once. It did happen back in '71. Ray Kennedy would go on to uh, Liverpool and have great success there as well. So, Stan, I see you might want to add to what I'm saying there.
Yeah, I was 3 years old when Ray Kennedy was playing for Arsenal, so I don't really remember him at Arsenal. I remember him more as a Liverpool player. You know, when he was at Liverpool, going more into sort of like the late 70s and the 80s. But yeah, good player. Another Arsenal player that we've lost, and sad to hear that.
Yeah, 70 years old as well. I mean, you wouldn't actually think I was getting on too much in years, but rest in peace, Ray Kennedy. I don't know if Tony or Gary want to add to that, other than just saying rest in peace or whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't
condolences
really
to the
know much
family.
about the player, but he said just rest in peace. 70s fairly early to go. Be nice to see him get some more years under his belt. But hopefully all the fans remember him. It's nice seeing the black armbands today. So.
And Gary?
Yes, condolences to him and to the family. And I know, it's you saw a lot of the tweets out there for him. So everybody, a lot of people remember him. I don't remember him.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I
Not much to say on his playing, but yeah. I mean, as you can see, I got his manager right behind me. So,
Birdie me,
so, yeah.
right there. Yeah, I was born in '71, so yeah, I definitely don't remember him. And as a kid, I was a Liverpool supporter before I sort of found my team.
Don't say that, Ray.
I know you
get to it.
I mean,
it's allowed, isn't it?
No. That's as part of your Arsenal story. Delete that. Omit that. Purge it. Whatever they say.
Some things are meant to be private, like your Menudo notebook.
Yeah. So yeah, some things don't need to get out there on the wire.
It's a bit like my first football kit was a Chelsea one. I never supported them. I think it was just like 1 year my parents said, let's buy them a football kit for PE at school. And they didn't know what to buy. And they got me one of those blue, itchy Umbro Chelsea kits. That was horrible.
You see, growing up in Ireland, you're either, dare I say it, a Manchester United supporter or a Liverpool supporter until you're able to do some research. You're old enough yourself. And so I found Arsenal. I got there late in the game, but I found Arsenal. But, it's been a tough road the last 15, 16, 17 years. Let's just say that much. Really said tonight, would have been delighted with a draw, was never optimistic before the game, given our record there. And Tony, I couldn't understand. A lot of Arsenal fans out there were thinking we were going to go get a win there. And, it would have been nice. It would have set us up perfectly. For me,
some people are optimistic instead of pessimistic like you, Ray. I think they were right for the picking. I think it should have been 3 points. And if you listen to our manager, he multiple times said we were in control, complete control. Complete control. He said it like 3 fucking times. We were in complete control. I'm not sure what match he was watching, but we started off the game okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it then, Stan. You look like you're steaming just a little bit more than the other three of us. We probably.
I don't know if they can be.
I don't know about that. I just, I don't know how am I supposed to look.
I can see it more on Stan's face, and I think he wants to go a little bit. So go, Stan.
Well, I mean, let's go back to our first goal. When the way that all went around, the way it all happened, right? I don't know about you lot. When it all happened, I was like, "Here we go! Don't you fucking dare!"
Yeah.
With your shenanigans, and because as far as I could see, initially I didn't see why De Gea went down. I was like, "Oh, which one of our players has gone into him?" And then you see on the replay that it's one of his own. And looking at it back now, since the game is finished, it's obvious to me that David De Gea was making a meal of it, because a few minutes later he was up and sprinting.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't obviously that hurt that he couldn't have tried to protect his goal and then gone down after you do your job of protecting the goal. So he made a meal of it, but the ref didn't blow. And so you play to the whistle. And as far as I was concerned, that was a stonewall goal. No debate about it. You try and chalk that off, then we've got a big problem here. And the goal stood. And when the way it all happened, I thought to myself, this is the football gods telling me, don't worry, Stan, we got this. Do you know what I mean? It was one of them ones I think we're destined to get something out of this game, the way that we scored that goal. But then what did we do? We sat back. And when we sat back, they were so pissed off at the way that goal went around. They came back at us instead of us going straight back at them and not giving them a chance, because they were pissed off the way that goal went in. If we'd gone straight back at them, they would have still been maybe a little bit discombobulated, but we let them back into the game.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a little bit cardinal. And Mikel Arteta said something in his post-match conference thing about, the senior players not leading. And this is what's going to happen, right? Because we've got a lot of a young profile in this team and a lot of new faces at Arsenal. Let's not forget that. So if you have a day where your younger players are having an off day, which is invariably going to happen, young players are going to be inconsistent, and then you couple that with your senior players not bothering, then it's only going to lead to disaster. Because we've been lucky enough that we've had a run of games where the majority of the time, those younger players have been the ones carrying the team. And that's been masking over the deficiencies of the senior players. And look at the senior players who are in the starting lineup today. It was Aubameyang, Thomas Partey, and El Nene, who for me, I felt El Nene did as much as he could.
Yep.
He did as much as he could. I'm not saying that he is the answer. I'm not saying that he should have started the game. But for me, Mohamed El Nene, and I'll say it again, if he's 75%, 80%, the technical ability of our best midfielder, he leaves all of that on the pitch. So I'm not going to bag off on El Nene too much. But Thomas Partey, lordy, what is happening there? And Aubameyang,
atrocious.
Aubameyang again. I mean, that first shot that he had in the first half, right? I haven't got a little sister, but if I did, she would have been able to put more on that ball than he did, right? The second one that he kind of missed and he was slightly offside, he should have been putting it away on its own in an isolated incident. It's not as bad, but you couple it together with the previous performances, he's now stinking up the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's now time for Aubameyang. It's time for Mikel Arteta to have the balls to sit him, and it's time for Aubameyang to be getting fleeting appearances off of the bench and proving and trying to work his way back into the team, just like any other player does. I think Nicolas Pepe went through that for a while. So now it has to happen with Aubameyang. But I think also as well that some of the substitutions should have been made a lot earlier, because there were 3 players that needed saving from themselves in that game, and it was quite clear early on. If you're not going to do it at half time, give them another 10 minutes, then make the change. And that was Aubameyang, Tavares, and who was the other one? Aubameyang, Tavares, and Partey. And Thomas Partey. They needed saving from themselves.
Yep.
And it's a shame, because I saw people tweeting out about Tavares. People have come to the conclusion that perhaps he crumbles in the big games. So I've touched on a lot of little hot points there.
Yeah.
Had my say there for a little bit of how I feel the game went. I'm disappointed, but I definitely feel now that when we go to Everton, the team can't be like feeling sorry for themselves, and Mikel Arteta needs to be bold, and some players now need to sit for a little bit.
Yeah. Tony, you had your hand up, so you can go next.
I was going to say on that first shot that Aubameyang took, I have 2/3 of a leg. I feel like I could have got more power into it than he got.
Yeah.
Going on to Stan's first point on the referee stopping there. Referees very, very rarely stop an injury unless it's a head injury. And later in the game, we have a head injury. The game keeps going on.
They don't even give as much importance to head injuries unless it's a blatant, serious head injury. It seems to me like shut up, Siri. Yeah, it seems to me if it's a blatant head injury, they'll stop it. But a tackle, in the lower part of the body seems to have more importance than the upper body. Anything else, Tony? And then we'll get to Gary.
Yeah, that I'll have my points later on.
Yeah, we're gonna drill. We're gonna get down deep into all this stuff as well. It's like Stan said. Gary, you've been silent for a little bit, so I'll let you go.
Time to
Yeah.
fume, Gary.
Yeah, no, I jumped on I jumped on a show with Lolo earlier, and gave him a little bit of
Hey,
my
I
mind
was there
there.
too, Gary.
Okay, you could have said it. I
Yeah,
I wasn't
Tom.
hiding the fact that you were there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. As soon as the game was over, I said, "Let me write some notes at least to get started here." And I don't know why I'm smiling, because I'm actually kind of really pissed off at this game because, like Stan said, the first goal goes in. You're like, what just wait a second, this isn't I was definitely not expecting us to be the first ones to score, and we did. So we get the score. I'm like, all right, now when they talk about a free hit, that's a free hit, that goal, because now it doesn't matter what you do. If you go out there and you press them and you lose the ball and they tie it up, all right, at least you tried to get that second goal, right? But we didn't even do that. So I have two things. So I'm kind of pissed. Either I'm deluded because I thought we had a chance to actually beat them, even with Ronaldo, even with Bruno. It doesn't really matter. I thought we had a chance, and the way we played, it didn't look like that. I mean, we looked like we were playing one of the top three teams, and we got a goal first, and then we just took our foot off the gas. Put the handbrake down, slowed it down, parked the bus, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of what it looked like after we got their first goal. And then I'm like, all right, so if it's not, then I'm deluded, and I think we're as good as United. Maybe the team is just not good, all the way from the top to bottom, which we talk about all the time. Start with the owner, go all the way down to the players. Everything about this game highlighted all of that, to me, anyways. The goals we gave up, I think we could have played them much better the way we did. And it's not even like some people might want to blame White for the goal, but there's things that happened long before that ball gets to Bruno that we could have stopped and limited the rest of their goal. Right? There's a lot of things. I mean, I think you have to know where the best or the second best player in the world is right now. Right? When they're on the attack, you have to know where Ronaldo is, right?
Yeah,
you should. It doesn't matter if you're playing a zone or man to man on. It doesn't really matter what you're doing on defense, but you have to know where the threat is, right? Bruno and Ronaldo are the threats. You have to know that. Yeah. We didn't do that. We didn't look like we even were trying to score, and then we kind of got slapped in the face. It woken up a little bit, and then we came to life. I mean, it was just like I said. I'm torn between whether we're just not as good as United, or whether we still don't have all the players. And it's not even the players; it's everybody. Arteta, like I said, from KSC all the way down to the players, Arteta included, the assistant, everything was just on. I think we saw all of that today in this match, right? If I told you we're going to score 2 goals against United, you say that's going to be probably a good game, right? We might be able to get at least a point out of that, right?
Yeah. At least a point. And you know what? Ronaldo's going to walk away with the plaudits, because we had Roy Keane and what's the Carragher, right, going at it. That was entertaining on Sunday, but maybe Ronaldo got G'd up from that a little bit, but did we ever gift him? He's getting all the plaudits from this game, but we give them all the freedom in the park in the left back spot for his second goal. He's got Sancho's walking into that area for that, and we give away a penalty. And Ronaldo walks away with 2 goals. Thank you very much. And I don't think he's really worked very, very hard for those 2 goals. He's been in the right position, and he put away a penalty, which more and more I think goalkeepers should just stand up for, right down the middle there.
Well, that we know, when all of that stuff's happening, somebody needs to get in the face of somebody and tell them, look, we can't do that. You have to know, like the first goal, somebody has to get in somebody's face and say, nah, that can't happen again. The box, we have to know everybody is in the box. I don't know how you play football, I guess, but somebody has. You just can't have a player from the other team just standing there by themselves and nobody even know they're there. Or if you do know they're there, you need to call out and say, "I can't get there. Somebody come help me." Gabriel maybe could have come because White, I believe, saw him but then stayed still and didn't. For me, he was looking at the ball. He was ball watching. By the time if you're
The
ball
other
watching,
thing,
you don't see the threat behind you, and that's exactly what happened, right?
the other thing I
So
see is sort of Partey trailing the play as well for that first Bruno Fernandes goal. Partey's there, but he's not there. The same thing as Liverpool, Stan. And what I'm seeing from Liverpool to this game is we're losing ourselves. We put up a good show for about 40 minutes, but we lose the last 5 minutes of the first half, and we lose our heads the first 10 minutes of the second half. It's from minute 40 to minute 55, 60. We're lost.
And I thought going into this game in particular with this Man United team, that their backline to me is a bit suspect. And so when you get into that, maybe to change it up, I thought the game was maybe crying out for some of those Kieran Tierney crosses into the box, and maybe in the second half try and switch it and do something more of that nature. But I don't know who to be angry with. I'm not angry with United, which is really odd. Arteta's got a little bit to blame in this, but the players as well. And I think it really is a combination of, we can't rely on the young players all of the time. And when they need to be helped along, it seems to me that the senior players, Thomas Partey seems to be the most introverted person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any voice on the pitch at all, really, from what I can see. Aubameyang,
see him
again,
shouting out or doing anything.
Aubameyang doesn't really seem vocal at all.
That's why I said I'm upset with everybody, because I think everybody has a piece of a piece. Everybody has a piece in this, in the way that this game went. Everybody has a piece in it. You can pick anybody out, and I think they all had something to do with the way that this game went.
There was some great bits though, and there was a fight back though. We did fight back. And when we fought back and it got to it got to 2-2, I was still thinking that we were going to get something out of this game. I was still not giving up hope, But then when Odegaard made his mistake, I thought to myself, "This is a bridge too far now." This is now maybe a bridge too far. And I really felt for Martin Odegaard. I'm a big fan of his. And I really hope that he's a young man as well. Let's not forget that. He is a young man. And I just hope that this is the kind of thing that he remembers, he learns from it, and it doesn't become part of his game. Like we've had other players in the past who have those mistakes that they just can't seem to iron it out. I really hope that this is an anomaly. He learns from it. He bounces back, and that's not something that's.
We did in the Newcastle game. I think we saw Odegaard do the same thing, pull on arm as well, very much like Harry Maguire in that game as well. So we'll get into Harry Maguire.
Just on that note, the one thing I said coming out of the Liverpool matches, we can't let this start to fester and be the cause for us not playing as good as we can going forward. And we didn't do that. We got the win in Newcastle. I still didn't like the way we played, but we got the win, so I'll take it. I don't know. This is that game where, okay, if we played a lot better in the Liverpool match and we brought that through the Newcastle game and then into this one, would we have gotten the result we wanted? I don't know. Now it's like every other game now. Until we get back into a flow, we're not going to know. If that Liverpool game basically, it was a gut punch, and now we're still trying to get our breath.
Yeah. We're going to have, for what it's worth, we'll have an interactive quiz a little bit later, maybe to lighten the mood just a little bit.
Do you have your shit together this time, Ray?
Sure have. Yeah, sure have. Tony, let's talk about the first goal then, and I think Stan alluded to this. A lot of the goalkeepers are just going to fall down if anything hits them in the box. and that's what David De Gea was doing today. Uh, Hilariously, it was Fred who stood on him, and Fred's frantically trying to get his goalkeeper a free
So
kick.
one of the funniest tweets I saw, someone at half time, someone tweeted out and said, Fred was probably our best midfielder in that first half.
Yeah, he did quite well for that play. My God, but yeah, David De Gea goes down, and but a great technique, Tony, for Emile Smith Rowe to be able to put that. El Neni heads the ball to Emile Smith Rowe to volley that into an empty goal. And like Stan said, we're all thinking, hold on here, the referee's surely going to chalk this one off.
Yeah, but he didn't blow his whistle yet. He shouldn't have blown it. I don't know why he blew it after he seen the kick. To me, you never stop it, that type of injury, no matter what. You just stop it on severe head injuries or something you expect that's a serious injury. Later on, we kind of had that. The play kept going on. But to me, Smith Rowe did excellent there. He drove it into the back of the net because he hadn't heard a whistle yet. He seen the empty net. And he kicked the ball in the back of the net like he should.
Another
great goal.
Another sad indictment on our season and Aubameyang so far that Emile Smith Rowe is now our top goal scorer with 5 goals this season. Aubameyang's on 4. Stan, I really wanted to lead off tonight with same old Arsenal always cheating. So we want to see more of this Arsenal mean streak. Put the ball in the back of the net and let the referee decide what they're going to do. And the other thing is, the VAR is showing up these referees to be incompetent.
When David De Gea went down and was like rolling around, I was kind of screaming out like, keep playing, play to the whistle. Don't fucking stop and kick the ball out of play. Keep going. Do you know what I mean? Like, you play to the whistle. That's how it is. None of this fucking gentlemanly fucking off your fucking cap shit. Do you know what I mean? Would you like a cup of tea? Yeah. No, you go. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that's how we're doing things now.
Just move it into the fucking back of the net and move on.
I saw he made a meal of that, De Gea. He thought that he was going to get some kind of, Man United favours that they usually get off the referee, and it didn't work out for him because just a few minutes later he was sprinting. So
I don't know what the fuck took 5 minutes for VAR.
But talking about Emile Smith Rowe, did you notice what he looked like by the end of the game? He looked completely like ragged. Yeah, he wasn't able to track back. I don't know if there was something wrong with him. Not just tired, whether he had a bit of a niggle or something, because he really looked off of it by the end of the game.
He was one of those players. He was one of those players, Stan, that was losing the ball in midfield in that second part of the first half after about 20, 25 minutes.
Every player was, right?
Yeah, he was one of them.
I don't think anybody had a really good game outside of Ramsdale to me, because he didn't really have much of an opportunity to make saves today. Like I said, I don't think as a team we did not play well today. It was a really poor game.
I don't know. There were some nice bits though. There were some nice little bits. I mean, there was that one move at the edge of their penalty box where Odegaard managed to wriggle out and make a really nice little pass to Martinelli, whose shot went just a little bit wide.
Yep.
But that was a nice little bit of play, and also the move as well to set up Martinelli set up Odegaard for his goal as well. There were some nice little things that I saw, but we're literally playing with 10 men at the minute when you're looking at Aubameyang, and it's
well, some people will say even less, because I mean, for me, at least what I saw, Aubameyang, Partey, and even in some bits, I don't know, maybe I'm clueless to football, but I don't think Odegaard in the first half showed me as much as I was thinking I was going to get from him, and I don't think he had much time on the ball.
The one thing he had was that pass to Martinelli that Stan was referring to.
No, I'm talking about in the first half. You guys are talking about the second half. In the first half,
the second half.
That was in the second half. That move.
Yeah, in the first half, Aubameyang and Odegaard and Partey basically nothing, not enough for me, anyways. Definitely Aubameyang. Partey needs to be much better than whoever he's playing next to, and that's not happening as much as we want. Right? A lot of times he's just like, what is he doing out there? Erdegaard, I think many have said he needs to have different players around him to make him look good. Well, that's not Aubameyang.
Yep.
It's not
To me-
Aubameyang.
When is Partey going to start making some of our players look good? You know,
Partey
it's
should
just
have
like,
been taken
let us
off
use it as
at
an
half.
example. It doesn't seem to matter at Liverpool who you put next to Virgil van Dijk. They seem to look quite good because they're playing with Virgil van Dijk, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought Thomas
How many
Partey
of
was
you would
supposed
have
to.
took Partey off at halftime?
I honestly thought Thomas Partey was supposed to be bringing a little bit of that with him. That was one of his qualities. That that Xhaka was going to start looking really good next to him, and it would help people like Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But it seems to be the other way. I mean, it seems that Sambi Lokonga, I was thinking maybe should have been coming on for Partey at one point.
At halftime.
Do you know what I mean?
would have subbed him. How
Go
many
ahead,
of you would
Tony.
have? I said, how many of you would have took Partey off at halftime? I
Yeah.
would have.
Well, I mean, when you
Suarez as
watch
well.
it, when you're watching the match, and if you guys all did watch the match, all of it, they, like I said, they're missing. Like, I expect Erdegaard to be central to what we're doing in our attack. I expect Aubameyang to be finishing off in our attacks. I expect Partey to be also controlling that middle to some degree. In that the middle is killing us, right? We're
Yep.
still having problems with the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but we bought Ben White that fucked up twice on the first goal for £50 million.
So
But I mean, like I said, that whole thing there's a lot going on in there. He just happens to be the last one standing when the ball goes through the net.
He fell down once, then he got over there and screwed up
There
again.
seems to also be a bit of confusion of who is the deepest lying midfielder then? Is it Lokonga or is it Partey? Because it seems to me, I mean, and this is just going by
Should be
interviews I've
Lokonga.
heard with the players. When you hear getting the player and they start doing their interviews, you listen to what they say. I've heard Partey say that he prefers to play more as an 8 than a 6 or a 4. The deepest line one.
Zombie wants to play a
I've heard
6.
Lokonga say that he prefers to play more as a 6. You watch the games and like Lokonga's up there, man. A lot of the time, he's up there, like well ahead of the play. So it seems to be confusion of whose job is it to be the central defensive midfielder. Whose job is it to screen the back four and be there to try and mop up? Today, I thought it was more on Nenny. And Nenny was everywhere putting out fires. That is because he wasn't getting anything from Thomas Partey. He wasn't getting anything. So he was everywhere. He was everywhere.
I think when you're playing with a midfielder, your natural tendency is, if you're on any, you're more defensively minded. That automatically makes Partey be more offensively minded and go forward a little bit more. So depends on the partnership. If it's Partey versus Lokonga, then probably Partey is going to sit in front of the back four a little bit more, and Lokonga is going to be adventurous and try those passes that we've seen in the last game. I want to talk about the hesitancy. We got a goal up. We were 1-0 up, and 37 minutes we talked about Erdegaard feeding Martinelli, and a striker is always going to want to take that shot on in that situation. But that's really the only chances we had, and we sort of sat back. I think Arteta has said he doesn't want his team to do that, but I think
There was another chance, wasn't there, in the first half? That I can't remember who made the pass, but it ended up with Aubameyang taking the tamest of shots in the first half. I can't remember who played before that.
It was after 10 minutes, so that was before the Smith-Rowe goal. They changed.
Right, yeah.
Ronaldo had a strike, a couple of long-range tame efforts, but the tendency for this young team, and I suppose we have to maybe, if we want a young revolution at Arsenal, that's what's happening right now. We're going to have to suffer a little bit through games like this.
But this is, you can't. This isn't the fault of the youngsters. No, you can't. We can't say we're going to be young, but then we're going to have to grow through this when it's not the youngsters that are the ones that are punishing the team. We're getting punished by the older senior players that we're supposed to lean on. They're supposed to do their job. The young players are actually look at Smith-Rowe's shot. What other senior player on this team can shoot like that?
Yeah, good point.
He didn't. The ball wasn't even for him.
Great
He
technique.
was prepared to shoot it, took it out of the air. Goalkeeper had no time to even think about it. He's done that 3 times now.
Yeah,
Aubameyang needs to get extra touches. Today I was a little upset with Saka. I guess I'm going to lose some friends because of that. 2 times he steps on the ball. I'm like, come on, dude. If he just volleys that, maybe he has an opportunity to score. Once he settles the ball down, guess what? Defense is there. He can't get past the first defender, and all that. The threat is gone.
He wasn't fit enough to be playing.
No, I know, but he was fit enough to come out, and he was put himself in a perfect situation, and the finishing was still not there. I mean, I go back to the fact that he's played all the way through the summer, and Emile Smith-Rowe hasn't, and the things that he needed to work on are the things that I've seen Emile Smith-Rowe get better at, and him and Saka not.
He hasn't had any rest, Gary.
Yeah, you know what? He came in for 15, 20 minutes. So I'm not going to say that. Nah, he can shoot a ball. Come on.
Tony, the thing is with Saka, we wanted him rested against Newcastle. What does he do? He pops up and wins the game. He gets the lead goal for us against Newcastle when we need it. So this team is really needing the young players, Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka. Brady said another manager would have sold Partey at halftime. Right? Partey didn't track Bruno and Ronaldo for their goals. And he didn't do the same thing for Jota when he walked through and made Tavares look really bad up at Liverpool.
You know what? Our former midfielder, or not former, but our other midfielder does this exact same thing, and I complain about it every time. Xhaka is always trailing and taking his time to get back in, and he's always there to see it when a shot goes in.
He's always out of position.
He never tracks back. I don't know if he can get. He seems to be jogging back. I don't know if that's what Partey was doing today.
Gary.
So it's a midfield thing I've seen multiple times.
What was your question for me, Ray?
1 second. Brady said this result will hurt over the entire weekend. And we're going to have to wait and watch all the other teams play their games before we play Everton, which is now a must-win game. Did I have a question for you, Tony?
Yeah, you came to me, but you don't know what you said.
Senior players are letting down the youngsters. Perez said we needed another defender. He was right. So, efficiency. We were talking about the chance Martinelli had, Tony. I guess I'll go to you. In a perfect world, Martinelli squares that ball to Emile Smith-Rowe. He's sitting on the penalty spot waiting for that ball. And we've seen him score from that position before. But that's really only the other chances, Stan said, we had in the first half.
Yeah, he should have squared it to him instead of shooting it. But he hasn't played much. So I can't really criticize him too much because he hasn't been given the chances. He hasn't played with the players. Like I said last week, we really don't know what Martinelli has since his injury. We haven't seen him enough. Arteta doesn't fancy him. He wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have played tonight if Saka wasn't injured, wasn't fully fit. I don't think Martinelli would have been out there. But Saka got hurt, so he's out there. I can't criticize him too much. Yeah, he made the wrong choice, but he hasn't been out there enough to have the chemistry that he should with the players.
So, Stan, it's 1-1. United get their goal. Bruno Fernandes equalizes for them. Yeah. No, I dislike that guy. But
he could eat an apple through a letterbox.
Good. He's got a set of choppers on there. He could be an extra on The Walking Dead as well. He could do well there. Yeah, listen, we talk about red cards and yellow cards. The referees don't tend to issue them out in the first 5 minutes. You have to settle into the game before it becomes. That
is just like, I don't even like what.
I know.
So I know. It's almost like saying, you know what, the goals don't count in the first 3 minutes because you're still trying to settle into the game.
No,
let them settle in, get a little sweat on. Yeah, get a sweat in, and then we'll count the goals. No, the game starts when the whistle blows. It doesn't matter. You should referee and officiate the game the same way from second 1 to minute 90.
So what happened? What happened with Harry Maguire right on the cusp of halftime, pulling Tomiyasu?
VAR didn't do its job. VAR didn't do its job. It's
If the
VAR.
referee had missed that, then surely that gets pulled back by VAR, which is what it's
Yep.
supposed to do.
Supposed to
And the
do.
referee goes and takes a look at the little screen and then makes a decision based on what he's then seen. But they didn't do that for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
the game should at least been
But
stopped.
that didn't, in
at
their
that
eyes,
point.
that didn't warrant them stopping the game to take a look. And then what happened after that? The whistle went just after that, and that was the end of the
Conspiracy.
Arsenal players could have made a little bit more of a deal about it, maybe. But at the end of the day, you know, VAR is supposed to be the eye in the sky, right?
Yeah,
VAR is supposed to see all.
Failing.
Gabrielle seemed to be the only one that was shouting out, saying, "Hey, he grabbed his arm." Everybody else was being quiet.
So, Stan, conspiracy theory. It's the storyline that United are going to come back with Ragnar. So, do you think there's some kind of a conspiracy there? They look at United incidents, give them a clear penalty. I'm not objecting to Odegaard. I'm not objecting that that's not a penalty, but we don't get one in return.
No, but I mean, and again, it wasn't a case of with the Odegaard one that the referee blew up straight away and pointed to the spot. You know, again, he was prompted by VAR, right?
Yeah.
He was prompted by VAR. And so it does fucking rankle me a little bit that the Tomiyasu thing, that the ref wasn't prompted by VAR for that. That's what pisses me off. You don't expect the ref to see everything. They can miss things. And that was the whole reason they brought VAR in. Was to be the fucking third eye, so that the referee, if you miss something, let's keep it fair now. Referee, you might want to take a look at that. Oh, good call. Yeah, that's whatever it is. That didn't happen for us. It's bullshit.
If you look at Jurgen Klopp on the sideline, look at those Liverpool players. They're contesting every decision. They're making the referee aware of it. So as Reddy said here, why didn't our players surround the refs? We're too soft again, and that's maybe a mentality thing, a culture thing that we want to engender into the players, Stan.
Well, I mean, you mean the person that should be straight up to the ref is the captain, right? First of all, and then when he goes and does it, the rest of the team then should, or certain other players, a number of players should then follow suit behind the captain to fucking what the fuck, or whatever it is that they say when they're in them situations.
WTF, sir.
You know?
WTF.
So I mean, I get it that you might.
Gabrielle was saying it. Might have been in Portuguese, but Gabrielle was saying it.
People might say, well, some young players, inexperienced or whatsoever. But Aubameyang, you know what I mean? He should know the deal. Partey, he should know the deal. You know, there's a lot of players on the pitch that should be, you know, and the captain's got to lead that. He's got to be straight over there saying, what's going on? Why aren't you taking a look? And other players need to be around the captain as well in the background, you know, fucking burning their eyes into the fucking ref's head. None of that.
We go in, we come out in the second half. None of that exactly. And that's one we've done well by VAR. So this is probably the first time this season it's kind of affected us. Well, we go in.
VAR was on our side twice this year that we got points we shouldn't have got, right? We've been lucky.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't affected us as much as other teams has. We come out in the second half, Tony, and we're not at it. Tavares and Emile Smith-Rowe's they're trying to work something on the left-hand side. You can see this developing. They've got all of the space on that right wing where Tavares is exposed. Nobody's coming across to cover. No Partey. They don't have time to get there. Jadon Sancho, and you're just hoping we get away with this. The ball gets squared to Ronaldo, and he does what Ronaldo does when he has the opportunity, Tony.
Yep, he did what he was supposed to do. Our team came out flat again, playing scared like we seem to do, playing with a handbrake on. After we scored the first game, we should have went for their throats. We didn't. We were lucky to come back and get the second goal after they scored right there.
Yeah, and then you're thinking 2-2, we might, the way we've equalized, we might be able to go on. But
we should have, but we didn't.
Just conceding that goal is maddening, though, for Ronaldo to have the freedom in the park. You know, I always say space doesn't score goals, players do. So why can't you mark the player, not the space?
Yeah, it's not as if he's the fastest guy on the pitch. And I really thought we were going to get something out of the game because before they bought Ronaldo, Manchester United were getting a lot of their luck playing on the break, right?
Yeah.
And what do? They went out and bought the one player that ain't going to press. They're playing a pressing game, United. And fucking Ronaldo hasn't pressed in a long time now. So since they've had Ronaldo, when I have seen them, they've always looked like they're doing half of one thing and half of the other. They're not committing to either thing. Do you know what I mean? They're half pressing and half not. And I really thought that we'd be able to get to them. But as I say, I think that Mikel Arteta had an opportunity to save a couple of players from themselves in this game. And as much as I know everybody's been happy with Tavares, he needed to have been replaced. And I think Kieran Tierney getting up there and putting some crosses in could have added another dimension. Partey, I know that he's supposed to be our big man in the middle of the field, but it wasn't happening. It was happening. He couldn't string passes together. You know, it was. I felt bad for him, man. It's okay. Let's put this guy out of his misery now. Let's try someone else. Someone else comes in and maybe takes their chance. You know, but as much as what we're saying about Martinelli, that's what 2 games now. It's a goal and an assist.
Yeah,
It's you know, at the end of the day, that's production.
and
That's
I
an
didn't think
tangible.
he'd be able to do a full 90 stand.
Again, that's another thing that we've seen him do, complete a full 90. All of these things are tangible things that we've seen now for Martinelli. So, you know, even if he doesn't get to start the next game, this is a player that I think is now deserving of more than 5 minutes at the end.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
don't have time to
He
really
should have
get
been
into the
playing
game or
30
whatever.
minutes for the entire season at least.
So Martinelli, great cross, great pick out for Odegaard, and Odegaard puts the ball away. Aubameyang almost stymies it, almost fucks it
Again,
up.
he started
Again.
at Odegaard before, didn't he?
I
Yeah.
sure thought he was going to.
I think Odegaard might have strangled him if he'd have done that to him again.
She got
You know what I
against
mean?
him, the lad. She got against the lad.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Before we
many
get
of
in,
us thought Uber was going to fuck that up?
so Tony, don't shout out the answers tonight, says Riddy. Okay, we're gonna play the game a little bit later, Ray. So hang in there with us. We're gonna
Come
get
on, I
through
can shout them out.
through the rest of this game. We're going to go through a little bit of Premier League preview for this weekend. We are not going to put our upsets up unless you have something jumping out at you that you want to commit to right now. And then we're going to play the game just to make ourselves feel a little bit better about things. But Stan, I want to start you off with, before we get into the Odegaard, it's 2-2 right now. Before we get back to this game, I was going to frame it this way. Aubameyang scored 4 goals this season. 4 goals in 13 games, right? If he'd have scored a couple of tap-ins against Watford, the one that he took off of Saka, right? And if he'd scored a tap-in against Newcastle, that's 6 goals.
The penalty that he missed.
Yeah. So let's say he did those 3, let's say, which a normal striker should do. He's on 7 goals a season. And the heat would be off of him a little bit. But it's not right now because he's sitting on 4 goals a season after 13 league games. 14 league games.
He just doesn't even look capable, though, does he? Do you
No.
know what I mean? And he's not. You don't hear his name hardly mentioned. You know, and he's not being static. That's the thing. He isn't being static. And on the same old Arsenal USA, the bearded Gooner has said for a long time that he feels that the problem is that the system doesn't suit Aubameyang, and I've been arguing against that and I think it's looking more obvious now. When he does get a chance that falls to him, even if he's only 1 or 2 in the game, he's not able to do nothing about it. And it's like, how close to the goal do you need to be? He's a penalty box.
Every
He's a
fucking
penalty.
time.
He's a penalty box striker. He always has been. That's where he gets most of his joy, in the box. He's getting chances in the box, and it's not.
You want to know how close he needs to be, Stan? He needs to be as close as the one he took off of Odegaard for the Watford game. Needs to be that close.
You know what? He's never there for any other opportunities like that. He's always late. He's always late to every. In that same game, he was late to a couple of passes going in.
Because he's always meandering about. He's not up
Yeah,
there where he
he's.
needs to be.
I mean, you need to score against Watford. You don't take a touch and put Saka's offside and he scores. You need to score that opportunity. You need to score against Newcastle on the doorstep.
And can I just say as well, why is Balogun sat at home watching this on TV? And why is Eddie Nketiah, who said 24 hours earlier that he doesn't want to commit himself to the club, why is he coming on? Even if you think Eddie's a better player, you think to yourself, well, we don't know where this guy's head's at the minute. If our backs are to the wall, am I going to call on 24 hours later as well? 24 hours later, a player that we've had discussions with. Obviously, the discussions were must have got a bit tetchy because they were offering him a contract and he's turned around and said, no, thank you. Today's not the time to play him, is it? Surely not. Even if you think Florian Balogun is less of a player skill-wise than Eddie Nketiah, that's now where your eggs are. That's the basket. Our eggs are in the Balogun basket. Do you know what I mean? So give him a chance. Who knows? He comes on, he takes his chance and maybe pulls one back. We don't know. We don't know because we never got the chance to see. My eyebrow raised when I saw Eddie coming on. I got the substitution.
Well,
I called it a throwing a sink at it substitution.
Yeah.
He was bringing all of his firepower, but he chose the wrong gun.
Yep.
For this one. Should have been the Balogun gun.
Not only that, but now you're saying, Pepe, you're definitely done. Like, you can't even get on. You can't
Yes.
even get on the field ahead of a player who said, you know what, Arsenal, nah, I'm not on the contract in 6 months, and I don't want to be.
Especially when
going
he can
forward.
sign a deal with anybody
You
in
know, so
January.
and he already had an opportunity to leave, and my understanding is he didn't leave because he wanted the Arsenal salary, and other team Arsenal wasn't willing to, the other team wasn't willing to pay him that much. So
Why is he on $70,000 a week?
That's a good point, Gary, about Pepe. How far down the pecking order must that lad be then?
I mean, we keep talking
ahead of a player that said, I'm not interested in any of this.
Not only that, but think about it. You put all that money into Pepe. You want to pay Eddie because you want to maintain his worth, right? That's why they're not keeping him, right? They're only doing that because they want to get their money back.
Yeah,
he's not worth it. You're paying him to do nothing, to sit on the bench. You bring him in, you're like, he might score. At least Balogun gives you an opportunity, and he should get better each time he gets out there. If you put that much trust into a Saka, what is Balogun? What is he doing? He's just scoring goals at will. He knows how the ball looks like. What the ball looks like when the ball gets into when the ball goes into the net. He knows what that feels like. Aubameyang does not.
Yeah. The pitches and the goals are the same size at the senior level, so he's not going to be out of his depth.
Balogun is scoring goals for fun. Charles Watts said that if Eddie goes to an English team, Arsenal would get a little compensation only if Arsenal offered a contract. Gary, I remember.
That makes no sense. That kind of approach, because
it doesn't.
It makes
now you're pricing yourself out of a move, right?
Yeah, you no. He didn't take the last deal. How are you going to spend more money on him? And then he's going to stay. You're trying to get him out.
Yeah. Balogun, Pepe, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Tierney can't get games. Hopefully Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Tierney's probably going to come back into the fold. We've been wondering about this for a while.
He should be fit enough to come back into a fold by now.
Exactly. He is at times outside the box when we are attacking. I think that is Eddie that you're talking about, right? Oba played 13 games. Remember, he didn't play the first match. Yeah. So, but 4 goals from 13 league games. And I'm way back when I was starting to support Arsenal, Paul Merson burst onto the scene, Gary. And Arsenal put him in the team because he was scoring goals. We can do the same thing with Balogun, right? If we're not going to loan him, do something with Balogun because he's too good for the level he's playing at right now. He's too good for under 23.
He's better than Eddie. He should be out there, but
yeah, I mean, who said? Really was like, I was like, what WTF when Eddie came on? I think we're all thinking the same thing. Is it enough, Gary, for Aubameyang to be working off the ball? Is it enough, or is that just something a manager has to say? about a player who's not playing
Well,
well.
you know what? Well, based on the way that he's treated Pepe, that's what he wants. It's not what it's not even now. It's gotten to the point where this is the way I want my team to play. And if your skill set doesn't, if you're really good at this one thing, I don't care. I want you to sacrifice those skill sets that you have for the greater cause, which is team play, and everybody does the work. Right? That's what he's saying. Everybody has to do the work, or else they don't play. Even if that means, you know what, that's going to minimize and lower your opportunities and your performance. Right? We know what Aubameyang's good at. Ask him to do all that other stuff. Is it going to help? No, because we're seeing it now. Like his first the 2 years where where he was scoring 20 goals and whatnot, he was working really hard, coming back and doing all that stuff. I remember seeing it. I have a feeling it just wore him down.
On the wing.
It's wore him down now.
On the wing, as Ray said.
He was working, but he was working hard and all of that.
When he plays on the wing.
Yeah, he's not doing that now, and
yeah, because now he's more of a central figure, and he did come back a little bit. One move in the second half, I thought he helped to link up the play for us to progress the ball forward.
I think he had to come back, right? He had to come back.
Yeah,
we're much better now in the back line for sure. Our back four is much better than it was in the past. I mean, think about who we were playing in that back line. No, let's not even think about that. I don't want to, because
you just asked me.
That's just painful. No, see, it's going to make you cry. So stop. Let's not even think about the back four we have now. We can move up the field a little bit more now, right? Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have to come back as far, right?
Yeah,
that's why you do that, right? Ben White will bring the ball up sometimes he needs to. Gabriel shouldn't, but he will. Tavares definitely will. Tomiyasu, not so much. But that should mean he doesn't have to come back. That should mean that he's got a little bit more. He should have a little bit more gas in the tank, and they're not wearing him down as much, right? But it looks like that doesn't really matter what you give him to do. He can't do it either way. I mean, you see, it seems like he needs to press for a large percentage of the game, and he can't do that.
Ray Anderson, that is the problem. If Oba wasn't getting chances, then I would have said the team is a problem. Look how many clear-cut chances he gets. I don't think we created a really clear-cut chance for Aubameyang today. You all agree with that or disagree? I don't think he had a clear-cut chance.
Ray. You didn't watch the game all the way through, apparently?
Yeah, he was through, but they were not clear-cut chances.
What do you want him to do? How clear does it have to be? Like nobody in the box and just him and the ball?
Nobody in the net?
Okay, I think it's
you want to empty that, Ray?
If the question is Aubameyang getting on the ball enough, then the answer has to be no. Because I made a point in the previous game. I've said to myself, I really want to watch Aubameyang and see, because me and Tane have this thing about it. He says it's the team. I say that it's not that. And he was very mobile, right? I watched him. He was mobile. He wasn't just fucking strolling around doing that, Berbatov. He was mobile. When the team does good things and scores, his body language looks good. He's celebrating. He looks pleased for the goal scorer. However, is he getting on the ball enough? No. So there could be a question that he's not getting enough service. However, when he does get the chance, right? When he does get his one or two chances, he's not doing enough of it. So maybe he needs 5 chances to put one away. Is that where we are now?
And look, Salah will have lots of chances. Mo Salah will have lots of chances, but he scores as well. And Aubameyang's not doing that. 1-on-1 with the keeper is not a clear-cut chance, right? Question mark. I don't think he had a really clear-cut
think about
chance.
this. How many chances did Emil Smith-Rowe get today? How many chances did Erdegaard get today? Are they our striker? Are they our striker?
Good point.
No.
How many chances did Martinelli get in the previous game when he'd been on the pitch for how long? And that chance
90
came
seconds,
over?
I think it was. 90 seconds. That was his second touch, I think.
Yeah, I think it was actually 63 seconds.
So it can't be. You're not getting enough touches, because when you do get them, you should. You know what? You should be pissed that you're not getting enough. But when you do get it, guess what? You need to show them why. Why you need to get me the ball more, right? He's not showing us why he needs to get the ball more.
I thought we'd see that tonight. We didn't see that.
I think it's both I think it's both the system and the player. There's a reason we have a -3 goal differential.
I don't think it's the system. I think when you're missing chances on the doorstep, it's the striker itself making it account
I think it's
exactly.
both.
I mean,
So what?
we got enough
Well,
chances today, I believe, to score the third goal. The
Yep.
problem was I think we gave up two easy ones really
yeah,
today. You
yeah.
know, we
That's
definitely had opportunities to score, and it wasn't Aubameyang, which is the worst part about it. He's supposed to be the one that's supposed to be the one. Well, you know what? He had a poor day, and that's why we kept the game close. But he's not that. He's
and
got to score.
Problem is we score the first goal and put the handbrake on.
we made it look easy for Ronaldo again. Like I say earlier, I wonder if he's having a private conversation with Jamie Carragher next time he sees him. Tony, here we are with Aubameyang. We've got all this money invested in him for this season, and we're trying to make it work centrally. I think that's fair. We're trying to make it work centrally as a central striker. How easy or how hard is it now to change course mid-season? And does
I
it
think
need to
it's
happen?
easy. He's not doing a job. I don't think he's really been a central striker for years. Klopp, his last year at Dortmund, where was he playing? He's playing at the left.
Yeah, but that's
Where does
and
he
you know what? The
succeed
numbers don't
best?
say that though. The numbers don't say that. The numbers say
Yes, it
yes, he played
does.
on the left, but it was only for a small percentage
The
of his
team
career.
does better. His stats are about the same in the middle and on the left, but the team does far better when he's on the left. We score a lot more when he's on the left.
All right,
That's
second part of that
important.
question,
It's a
Tony.
team game, isn't it, Gary? Is it an individual game or is it a team sport?
I personally, I don't like him anywhere on the pitch, so it doesn't
I
really
don't
matter to
either,
me.
but I didn't like us signing him to begin
The
with.
ex-gunner said makes
What
you
the
think
fuck do I
what's
know?
going on in training because Oba's not looking sharp in training. How about that open goal against Newcastle? How do you miss that?
Yeah.
Really, Ray, don't think that is clear-cut chances. The defender was on the line. LOL. So, can we drop our captain?
He isn't our captain, right? Of course we can drop him.
Well, what's supposed to happen now is, right, whether he's the captain or not, he's now supposed to sit on the bench, and he's now supposed to get fleeting chances as a substitute. And in those opportunities they see he's getting, he's supposed to work his way back into the team. Meanwhile, showing that he can continue hard and work hard and keep to the standard that's required in training, and not drop his shoulders and face up a smack task because he's on the bench. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what happens. It happened to Pepe for a while, all because he's the captain and he's our most, highest paid player. That's what's supposed to happen. We did it to Ozil, and Mikel showed that he can do that, and I think he needs to do it again. And it's up to Aubameyang to work his way in. But I'd like to just read out this tweet that really, for me, sums up how I feel about this whole game. And it was tweeted by someone called @Guna_GAWA, and he said, "I'm fucking sick of the double standards of refereeing and VAR, but I'm also sick of watching us sit back and stop playing when a team is there for the taking.
Yeah.
Also had enough of Aubameyang completely underperforming." And I think that's basically how the majority of Arsenal fans feel off the back of this result. And I think that kind of sums it up quite well.
Yeah.
You can't sit Pepe for his performances and then look at Aubameyang and go, you know what? I think he needs another try. Guess what? I think he needs another try. Guess what? I think he needs another try. No.
Then you have Arteta starting a week off saying that he hasn't lost his goal touch at all, when it's clear and obvious that he isn't scoring.
I mean, these are things that managers will say to defend their players, and players will fight for you when.
Defend the young players.
You
Don't
just said it
defend
right there. The
senior
players would
players
fight
that
for you.
are
They would
supposed to be
stand up
leaders.
for their manager. Well, guess what this team has never done? They've never stood up for their manager. They're not standing up for him. You think I always go back to like the Simeone kind of like and Partey. You think he runs off the pitch with Simeone standing there on the sideline looking at him? I don't
I
think
wanna-
so. I don't think so. I think that's the last thing on his
Yeah.
mind is I
That
need to
man
get
in
off
a
this
black
pitch because
suit would attack his ass.
I don't feel right in my leg. Are you kidding me? What
Yeah.
what sport have you ever seen a player just like run off like that? I've never seen that before. Never. They don't do that. Players don't do that. Their minds they're crazy, right? Last thing they want to do is let down their teammates. And that's exactly what he did. Right? Arteta pushed him back out there, and it was a bad look all around. But you know, he we're just coming. You know, this is like I said, everybody's to blame. Parts of these are Arteta's inexperience as a manager, right? There's certain things he won't do because he doesn't want to ruffle the feathers, right? Guess what? They're not helping you out, right? He kept pushing William out there for half the season. And what did William ever answer the call? No, not until the last game. Exactly. And then even then, and then you saw Arteta's face like, I don't need it now. I needed it. I needed it in the third game of the season.
It was a bookend, wasn't it? He had a good game on his very first game, and then his last game out the door, he had another good game. Everything in between was just like poop.
Yeah, it's like where was that all season? That's what he was thinking on the bench there, you know. So Stan, where do we go from here if Aubameyang's out of the team? Who are you playing?
Well, the automatic choice is Lacazette. He's next in line, right? Also, as well, I've noticed a lot of players talking very highly of Lacazette behind the scenes, how he's helping, how again, this is another player that's got one foot out of the door. And I think I saw a quote from him saying that his manager is out there, mate, shopping him around, man.
They're looking for a project.
Yeah, his agents are
looking for a beautiful project. However, what I like about Aubameyang, it reminds me a little bit of Aaron Ramsey. When Aaron Ramsey had one foot out of the door and Unai Emery decided to recall him, he didn't let us down. He tried hard for us. And I'm seeing that with Lacazette. He doesn't look like a guy who's just like, well, I'm out of here.
No.
So he maybe he's playing for that next move. He's putting himself in the shop window, which is fair enough. So
I think
give him an opportunity. Switch those two round now. Let's have Lacazette starting, and Aubameyang waiting should be chomping at the bit for Lacazette to underperform so that he can come on and make an impression. That's sorry.
Are we blowing this out of proportion? A year ago, we were flirting with relegation. Now we're in 5th place. We've lost 2 of the last 3 games.
But we need to see. I mean, we still need to see some performance from the team, though. Some improvement from game to game, right? Aubameyang doesn't look any different than he did last season, and we expect him to look better than he did last season, right?
True.
So there's little things that we're looking for here. We're not asking for the moon right now. We're asking, we're asking for little changes. You should be clinical in front of goal, right? You should take a lead and be able to hold on to it and maybe try to get that second goal, right? You can't. Your defensive responsibilities need to be met, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing that either. Like you're supposed to be leaning on the older players. Can't. You talk about Lacazette being a really good guy in the locker room. Luiz was a good player in the locker room, but guess what? Also, he could do. He also could play on the pitch and actually do his job, right?
And this time last year, late December, Lacazette comes into the team and he plays really, really well with Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and the kids around him.
He did that last year. Then he got benched again.
That's what I mean.
I'll answer your first question like this, Ray. If we're able to be in 5th and like basically in touching distance of 4th place at this part of the season, where would we be if everyone was playing their part?
Mm-hmm.
If we weren't going into matches where it was like the youngsters and new faces carrying us, masking over the senior players not doing their bit, maybe we wouldn't be in touching distance of 4th. Maybe we'd be comfortably in 4th.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And that's the fine margin, because come the end of the season, should we miss some form of European qualification by 1 point, this will be a match that I'll be looking back at and saying to myself, there was a point there. There was definitely 1 point in that game to be taken.
There's 3 points, Dan.
That's how fine the margin
Definitely
is.
one though. Yeah.
You know?
There's 3 points. Come on.
You know, we look every for the last 4 or 5 seasons, we always have looked back at games that we shouldn't have lost or points that we shouldn't have given up.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where there are points that we gave up, right?
Yep.
And the Newcastle is where we had goals that we gave up. And the Liverpool is where we had at least some kind of performance that we kind of did not showcase there. The little things that we're not doing, they may not get us the win in the Liverpool match, but they definitely would have got us points in the United match. You know, we need to be able to, you know, destroy like Newcastle, and then have a really good game against United where we can get a win and not feel like we're going to let something slip. All right. That's where we need to be, and that's what we've shown so far in this run. Unless the run is fake, you know, like it should give the team some confidence. Look, we haven't lost in 10 matches. We must be doing something right. Let's continue to build on this little by little. I keep saying it. Can we build a little bit by little from match to match, right?
Yeah,
that's what we want. I'm not asking for a lot. I don't think the things that we did wrong today are things we couldn't have done. You know, done better, right?
Yeah. At least in the league there, we had 3 wins on the trot, 2 draws, and then 3 wins again. Last 3 have been loss, win, loss. The things are, losses are against at difficult grounds. Okay, we should have probably gotten something out of this game. Erdegaard, Stan, is this something he's going to learn from, that challenge? And Fred had a heavily involvement in today's game. He was all over the place, and he was a player who was being, you know, we laud Lacazette for putting his foot in the right place so that when the challenge comes, it looks he can sell the penalty more. Fred did the same thing for this challenge from Erdegaard.
Odegaard kind of like teaching me a lesson about Ozil, because he's like a reverse Ozil for me, a bizarro Ozil, because you know how I was for so long about it's time that we moved this guy on. The pay rise was a waste, and obviously he had a lot of his disciples who would, you know, fight me tooth and nail about why he should always be picked every week. And I was like, what are these guys going on about? Well, I'm getting a little bit like that. I'm a big fan of Odegaard, and I've still got a feeling that he's going to be good for us. However, I'm not blind, man. He had there's a couple of games where he's not been quite, you know, on it for me. You know, it's not been quite there yet. But we have to remember, even though he came to us from Real Madrid, he's quite a young man. My biggest fear is that he's going to end up just being at that level of another Dani Ceballos, and I really hope that's not the case, because I was, you know, just not as the person, but as the player, Dani Ceballos was never what we needed. I thought we could do better than that, and I was sure that Martin Odegaard was better than that level, and I still think he might be. He's good with a dead ball. I know that much. I know that when he steps over for a free kick, I'm like, we could get something here. You know, usually when we get a free kick, I go for a quick piss break and put the kettle on, because I'm not going to miss nothing.
Yeah.
You know, with Odegaard, I'm all eyes because he's got a chance. So, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, because he did get a goal today, right? He did get a goal today. But
some good and some bad from him.
Young players make mistakes. You know, look at Patrick Vieira. And Patrick Vieira got a lot of red cards for us.
Yep. Tony?
I think it's all mentality. He was talking about lies being spread at Real Madrid and stuff. I think he's just got a lot on his mind. He adapted very quick last season in January. To me, it's just all mentally. I think he's still got the talent. I'm very disappointed at what he's done so far, but I still believe in him. I think he's got the talent there. Just mentally, something's off with the guy. Hopefully it gets put together soon and he starts being the player we saw last season.
Right, he said where was Partey and Martinelli for the penalty, and really, Odegaard didn't realize he was inside the box. Like that was kind of seemed well inside the box for
He,
me.
he he made that tackle on the wrong side, and Fred was very clever. Fred did what he was supposed to do in that situation.
Put your foot out a little bit more, so you're caught a little bit more, and you sell it. That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
Gary.
No, I was saying he was reaching around him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with his left
reach
leg.
around.
I mean, he's. Well, I mean, you saw his left leg is the one he was trying to stop that ball with, and in reality, it should have been his right leg if he was going to seriously clear it away. And that's why you're going to go through a play when you go in with your when you're trying to tackle that ball away with your far leg. So it was he's if he didn't know where he was on the pitch, then that's not good either. He's got to know where he is.
Yeah.
To get the map and a compass.
Yeah. He has to know where, because he knew to make the tackle. So it's not like he might have had that right, but he has to know where he is on the pitch. He has to.
Fred planted his foot. He put his foot out there so that you make yourself a little wider, so it's more difficult if the contact's coming.
Yeah, but if he's going with his right foot to make that tackle, Fred moves out there. I think he might miss him, right?
It's still a soft penalty.
He basically he goes through him now. He's gonna clip that back leg of Fred anyways, the way he's tackling. So I that's kind of what I saw.
Any final thoughts then, Gary? We'll just go around. Final thoughts on this game. Substitutions weren't great. Odegaard comes off and Eddie finds himself on the field. Aubameyang comes off for his mate Lacazette. We got a whole new strike force. And for me, I didn't really have much confidence we were going to get that equalizing third goal.
Pessimistic, Ray.
Yeah,
Where's Rainbow Ray at?
I had a feeling deep down.
Where's Rainbow Ray at? Ray.
We have done well against United for 3.5 years. Arteta has not been beaten by United, and it happened today.
I guess so. Yeah.
Swings and roundabouts, Gary. I mean,
you know what? But you know what?
United.
You think? But this is an opportunity we lost, right? To get a point at this game. So
I told you today it was a 50-50. It could literally have gone any which way before the game.
Yeah, so we should be disappointed we didn't get a point, because this is the game. This is a point that we should have gotten, right? So it's not like this is the games before the last 3 years where we kind of go in there and just get destroyed. This is one where we needed to get the points, and it's disappointing that we didn't.
Yeah.
We had enough opportunities to do that. We had play calls go against us, but that's not the reason we didn't. We lost for just total. The entire system collapsed for us, right? Nothing. Things that we needed to go away did not. We didn't get the calls we wanted, but we had opportunities to get that third goal. So
yeah. We lost because we were loose with the ball for that second goal, especially Tavares and Emile Smith-Rowe. Lost the ball. It got turned over in transition, and we're one of the teams that has been hurt in transition. I think Urbino put something out during the week. We're probably one of the heaviest penalized teams in transition against us. And we lost, obviously, to that penalty as well. 2 mistakes, really, in this game cost us. Stan,
there was a mistake on the first goal. I mean, come on.
Mistakes.
Every goal is a mistake. You could say every goal is a mistake, but I think they worked that first goal pretty well. The other 2 are more egregious to me.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Which one is the cheapest goal then, Gary? Which one is the cheapest?
The first one was the cheap. Well, the first was the cheapest one.
White screwed up twice.
Why didn't he? Goal. I mean, Bruno didn't even have to move. He didn't have to move. He got into the box, stood there, and waited for the ball to come to him, and then took the shot. Like at least on the Ronaldo goal, he had to split between the 2 defenders and put a foot on the ball. But you got to know where he is. You can't let him split you.
I'm just noticing as well, and I noticed it on a few occasions when we're in some form of attacking play and an attacking movement, and we've got the ball up in the final third. Why does everyone have to go? I know that you move as a bit of a unit, but everybody's up there, and then what invariably happens is for that final pass, it doesn't quite make it. The ball pops out, and then all of a sudden they're herring down, and our defenders are having to spin around and chase back. They're always chasing back a winger. Someone's herring off with the ball. Someone's doing a Martinelli, and we haven't got anybody who's okay. You're all going to move up. I'm going to hang back in case the ball pops out and I can try and clear something up. It's basically Ramsdale, and that's it. And everybody's running back. And I saw it happen I saw it happen at least 3 times, and I just kept thinking to myself, I get it that it's good to move as a unit, but why does everyone have to go so high? All of them, everybody. You know, there's no security. There's no security in case the ball does pop out. I don't know. Did you notice that? I saw it on about 3 occasions, and I'm just like, we're herring back, and if we make a tackle, the guy's coming down, and it's going to be a problem, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's based on ball possession and ball security, and if we lose that, we get transitioned on, and teams can hurt us in that way. I didn't think United could break on us that quickly, but we made some crucial mistakes.
Yeah, so there's a question for me I saw from Riddy, whether don't you think we are overconfident in our predictions? I don't think so. In our predictions for this game,
the Arsenal fan base, I saw across the board there was not any negative thoughts for this game.
I see the negative ones, but
you don't think we could have won this game 2-1?
Yeah, but to have 80% of the fan base think we were going to win or draw the game.
But I asked you a question. You said yes, so that means that we could have won this game.
We could have won the game.
Yeah. So there's not. I'm not overconfident. It's not. I didn't say we're going to win 3-0.
What position were we in?
We were 5th.
What position were they in?
8th or 9th, something like that.
10th.
Okay. But outside of the top 3, there's a lot of mediocrity, and we're part of that. We just happen to be in the top part of that mediocrity.
But we could have won this match.
We should have won the match.
So that's not overconfidence. I don't. These are points lost. We definitely. You score first on the road. You hopefully expect to get something out of this match, right?
Remember what I said right at the beginning, right? And you agreed with me when I said, go back to last season and the season before. We were that team where a struggling team would see us coming up and think, oh, we can grab 3 points there, which is going to help our cause. Man United, I feel, we're in that position today.
Yeah, we're still a little bit like that team because we don't control games enough. We don't score enough goals because of mainly our striker. You got a situation where our number 10 right now has scored 5 goals. Our leading goal scorer.
BX Gunner mentioned it as well. I've not seen it myself, but again, it's just bad optics. This thing about the next one down. Apparently, Aubameyang has liked to post on social media from Ronaldo or something. I mean, it's bad optics, isn't it? It's still a bit more.
Even if you think it's a great achievement to score 801 goals, don't go on social media.
Couldn't you send him a DM? I'm sure he's got private lines to someone like him.
Yeah. Don't do that. I mean, and you played in the game that you lost.
He didn't even score.
He didn't. Yeah. I'm going to
that doesn't show. That doesn't. I mean, we're talking about having the armband and showing some sort of leadership there. To me, it doesn't show much there. I understand, like you said, there's no reason for him to post it for the world to see. All right. I mean, it's not necessary. He probably can call him up and talk to him on the phone.
Couldn't you have told him in the players' lounge after the fucking game? He
could have told him right there on the pitch. Good game. Talk to you later.
So, Gary, we'll have Tony have the final say, but you want to start off with your nominees for Don Juan Man in the Match?
Can we go back, Ray? I wanted to get my final thoughts of the game in. I probably stand probably those two.
I thought you had your final thoughts for the last 6 minutes. Go ahead.
No, I did not. For me, from the start, you don't give El Nini his first Premier League start during this game. You don't start out of form Aubameyang. I would have started Lacazette. I thought the manager made terrible substitutions. There should have been substitutions at halftime. If there's Emery, if he saw some of the players, he would have yanked them at 30 minutes. But no, Arteta always has to wait to the 70th minute. During a watch along, I asked anybody if they wanted to bet me £20 that there'd be a substitution before 70 minutes. Nobody would bet me because we know what he does. It's the same shit week in and week out. He's predictable as hell. He's stubborn as fuck. He plays in the wrong type of system for the players we have. It just doesn't work.
Yep. The subs came on the 70th minute. You're right. 70 minute. Man in the match, Tony.
Uh,
I'll be right back. You guys go around the house. Man in the match.
To me, there is lots of sevens. You could have went with
And
ESR.
Rich, you were lucky. We're lucky tonight, Rich.
You could have went with ESR. You could have went with Tomiyasu. You could have went with Gabriel. To me, there's not a really clear-cut one. You guys can say who you think is.
There isn't a clear standout one, is there? But I think for me, for the full 90 minutes, I think maybe Martinelli just edges it for me.
Yeah, it's real close.
I don't really want to give anybody. Like I said, I'm happy with the team.
Gary
today.
wasn't happy with anybody. He's not that vote.
No, I mean, like
you
said,
abstain, Gary.
No, I mean, I think, like you said, like you guys said, I think Gabriel to me because he gets the start, and he didn't do too many negative things, but he did, was kind of part of our failure in the defensive side.
You're talking about Gabriel Megalegs or Martinelli?
Martinelli, yeah. Gabriel, yeah, he's a center back, so he's gonna, when we score, he's gonna be right there for it. But I think Martinelli maybe, yeah. I like I said, I don't really want to give anybody. I don't think it's deserving. I think as a team we're just kind of too poor for me today, and that's not just the players; it's everybody. So.
One of the two Brazilians, Ray.
Traveling supporter was man in the match. I'm going to give it to Martinelli as well.
I don't know about that. I saw that a little kid supposedly took a coin to the face, and supposedly the coin came from the traveling fans.
Oh, did you? Yes. I saw on the one I was watching. I was obviously probably the same footage, but a different carrier. A guy ran onto the pitch, and they very quickly cut away and showed replays because they don't like to publicise it. But it was, and I was like, did someone run off onto the
Somebody
pitch?
ran on the pitch as well.
And
yeah.
The next time they showed a wide shot, you just saw him being bundled through to the tunnel, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then a plastic water bottle got thrown at the keeper, right?
That was Arsene Wenger. He did that. He always had a plastic water bottle. He used to kick it on the sideline.
Somebody ran onto the pitch. I don't know what was going on. It happened really quickly, and they didn't keep the cameras on it.
Is something up on my computer? I don't think so.
Might have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trying to talk to the ref about fucking ESR's goal.
AD said ESR was absolutely anonymous, did absolutely nothing. He scored the goal. I think after that he sort of disappeared a little bit,
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't think it's hard to give anybody.
Not sure what game AD was watching.
Yeah, I don't think anybody stood out. They all had their. To tell you the truth, El Neni didn't do anything different than he usually does.
Yeah,
I think people were complaining because he passes backwards and stuff like that, but that's what he does. He does that.
And I think that's overstated.
When people, hold on a minute. The thing is with that, it's kind of like it's like a myth. It's like a myth, like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Because every player now and then during the game will make a backward pass, right? But El Neni did make forward passes. And Elneny did run sometimes to get into some good space. But then now and again, he gets the ball. There's nothing on. He makes a backward pass. And as soon as he does that,
He did it
that's when
again.
you see a load of tweets.
No.
A load of tweets going,
I would
"Fucking
agree
hell."
with you. I would agree with you, but that's not when
He
I
didn't
complain
just-
about his
he
backwards
didn't just
passes.
make
I didn't.
backward passes all game. Yeah, he did do some, but he also made some forward passes and even took a
Believe it
shot.
or not, last season he played about 14 games with Partey, and we gathered the most amount of points with Elneny and Partey as the partnership. So, but
I
did
would,
have
I'm
Xhaka, you had
defending
to
him,
buy
but I
him.
would
Yeah.
say that his best asset for us is what I say is he's a good closer. He's a good person to bring on to close the game out. Maybe not to start a game.
If you're gonna blame Aubameyang and Partey, that's fine. I don't think you can put Elneny in that
No, I'm
caption.
not blaming him.
But he hurt us tonight.
No. Like I said, I think Elneny was
I
probably
don't
the
think
most
he could have
consistent.
started.
He was the most consistent player today because he always is. He doesn't really like Stan says. He'll give you, if he's a 7, he's giving you 6.9s on his worst days. He's usually giving you 7s though, right? I mean, so he plays within himself, and he gives you everything he's got. The other players could learn something from that because that's what we want.
Consistency. Yeah.
I think we needed a more offensive option than Elneny.
No. I don't think his off. We did not. We had opportunities to score today. It had nothing to do with Elneny being on the pitch. So
Correct.
we did have opportunities to score today.
We didn't lose because Elneny was on.
Elneny didn't hold us back from scoring. I mean, It didn't really help us as much from defending, but he didn't hurt us. He didn't hurt us any. He didn't do anything outlandish like bad passes that led to goals. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't do that today.
He put out a lot of. Do you know he kind of reminded me a little bit of some of the best displays sometimes of how Lucas Torreira would be. Everywhere, putting out little fires here and there, and that's what I thought Elneny was doing today.
Yeah. Listen, all is not lost. We do have a vital game up at Goodison Park, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I think we should maybe get into briefly. We'll go through the Premier League fixtures, but before that, we're going to talk about I think to stay on track till the end of the year, we got 7 more games, and 23 points we have right now. I think we should.
Martinelli was with Don Juan, Ray.
Martinelli was the Don Juan. I will give it to him. He did 90 minutes, and I think we need to maybe persist with him.
Now I need to go piss real quick, and I'll be back.
You go for that. We need about 12 points, I think, from these 7 games, at least 12 points to stay on track. Let's talk about the 7 games, Gary. First one up is Everton, and we don't need to go in big detail into all of this, but there's some winnable games here outside of maybe West Ham, which is the most difficult one. We got Everton, Southampton, Leeds, Norwich, and Wolves.
I mean, right now when I look at that, I mean, there's for me, I see like 13 points. I'm probably getting, like you said, there's always going to be a loss in there that's going to surprise us. But I can see us getting 13. Meaning we'll draw 1 and we'll win the rest. So I mean, that's where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like I said, the sting of the Liverpool match, I need it to go away. The stink of it, the smell of it.
The Liverpool one.
Away.
Did that not go away from the Newcastle game?
No.
Okay.
No, because what did we see today? I didn't see. It's still lingering. Today.
I think the thing with Liverpool was, some people said, why didn't we play more defensively? I think Arteta's trying to instill a braveness into this team to go out and go toe to toe with the Liverpool. The Liverpool fans ridiculed us for doing that, but I think in the next few years it might stand us in good stead. Have that mentality. We can take Liverpool on. Okay, we couldn't in the end. It was 4-0. We fell into a lot of their pressing traps, but I think Arteta's trying to instill that, and I think we went toe to toe with United a little bit today as well. Naively, we'll look back, but I think that's something Arteta wants to do against the big boys.
What would the feeling be if after the Liverpool game, we had today's game, exactly the same, how exactly it played out, and then today we played Newcastle and had that result and ended the game how it was at Newcastle?
So 2 4-0 defeats, followed by 2-0 wins.
we look after the Liverpool game. It's the Man United instead of the Newcastle. Yeah, and we have the same result, 3-2.
The feeling would be
today would be we've just finished the Newcastle game. Just I'm getting at.
be relief that we've arrested a slide. Right? We've lost 4-0. We've lost 2 games away from home.
So I think that Gary was wrong to say that Newcastle was not a response to the Liverpool game, and that he said he could still feel it and still smell it.
He still has the stink of the Liverpool
game. I think we did come back and respond, but then we let ourselves down again today. That's the thing. We let ourselves down again today, and that's what I said going back a few weeks ago about inconsistencies and bumps in the road because of the profile of the team, and to still a certain extent the profile of the manager. And as painful as it is, I just think that's how it is. And these bumps in the road are being caused because you've got young players that are still learning their trade, and then new faces to the team. And as we've mentioned, the senior players that we have, most of those senior players, they're just not up to the task. And they're the ones that are being carried instead of them being able to shepherd through.
It shouldn't be that way.
Through in those darker times, to can step up and should be turning around and looking at each other and saying, hey, fix up. It's not happening.
It shouldn't be that way, Gary. I mean, look at the last 3. Loss, win, loss. We want to add some more W's and D's to those question marks toward the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the reason why I still feel like I would have thought we come out of that the Liverpool match and then we play Newcastle and it's not even close. We did nothing. We didn't win the first half, and I think it's been said multiple times that we don't win halves. We don't win. We've not won both halves in a game all season, I believe. So. And that's what we needed to do against Newcastle. We needed to have won both halves. We didn't. It was 0-0 at halftime there. So, and I think we are a much better team than that. I believe we are.
Mm.
I know. Like I said, we got the 2. I enjoyed the 2-0 win, but I don't think that's the performance that we wanted to get out of it. Because it doesn't help. It shows up in a game like today.
The 2-0 win. To Gary's points, then the 2-0 win took 2 unique passages of play to win that game. Intelligence of Saka.
I don't understand the problem here.
It wasn't a run of the mill win. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't a case of if you're saying, okay, let's say I agree with you and say that we were playing really badly and poorly in that first half. At least for whatever reason, maybe at halftime, Mikel Arteta had words. For whatever reason, as a team, we managed to climb out of that funk and we won 3 points.
I can see both sides.
We didn't end up being a team where, Newcastle, who hadn't won a game all season, at least we weren't that team where it's like, Newcastle finally won a game. And guess what? It was against Arsenal. At least we weren't them.
We weren't that mean.
Okay, we weren't doing fucking Cruyff turns and that in the first half and scorpion kicks, but we did enough to come out with the 3 points away from home.
I mean, like I said, I feel like these things build on each other, and that's why you see a performance like you did today, because we have to be, we have to get lucky. We have to get lucky in the games for us to get the results that we want. All right. So like I said, I like to say we can at some point we should be able to control the match and get what we want out of it, as opposed to like
if Odegaard doesn't make that mistake, we're still in there though. Do you know what I mean? If he doesn't make that error, that mistake, which this young lad has done,
Odegaard 2-2 going into the last 20 minutes.
We're still hanging in there, and there's still hope. But once he made that mistake, that's when I got deflated. Because up until that point, Gary, I still believed, seriously, that we could still take something from that game.
I think it's a 2-2.
But that mistake I thought that's a bridge too far, man.
I think it's a 2-2 draw. I think the game finishes 2-2 if Odegaard doesn't make that mistake.
No, for sure you can't give them opportunities, but we kind of to some degree did that. But we did. once again, we still had shots on goal after that. So it's not like we didn't have opportunities to tie it back up even after that. But like you said, you can't give United, a PK, because they seem to be always guaranteed to get one. Everybody talks about it, and it hasn't happened that often. But you can't do that. You can't be gifting them. Like, you can't be passing the ball to Jota going back into the attacking third. You can't do that. You're gonna pay for it, and that's exactly what happened to us, right?
And there's
So it's
there's a thing that Ray said, to your point, Gary. Fogba had scored that sitter against Newcastle. We'd win both halves for the first time probably this season.
Good point.
But
Yeah.
I can see both sides of it. We wanted a run of the mill win against Newcastle, the bottom team, playing at home. It didn't happen. It took two moments of brilliance, in my opinion, from Saka and Martinelli to secure the points for us. And I think we want to see some of those run-of-the-mill games, like a West Brom from last year, 4-0 in the snow. You know what I mean? But I think some people saying 15 from 21 points here. I definitely would take 15 right now from these 7 games.
Yeah.
That would keep us well on course.
Yeah. No, I mean, at some point we should be able to handle the teams on the bottom half of the table. At least relegation.
Yeah.
We played tough games against the relegation. We scored 4 goals against the relegation teams. 4. We played 3 of them. 4 goals. I mean,
2 against Newcastle, 1 against
so I mean,
Norwich,
and one of the goals was a really nice free kick from Erdegaard, right? So we're not handling these teams at the bottom of the table. So if you're struggling to handle those games,
no, we are. We're taking points now.
But then how are you supposed to improve and play against the teams that are closer to your level and get wins out of it?
We just had a 10-game run, and I thought we took the points where we needed to take the points. And for that reason alone, when you're asking yourself, well, what is it to me that look as a sign of improvement under this manager? The fact that I went into this game so confident because of what I'd seen off of that run, because I think one of the problems towards the end of Wenger's reign, right up until that 10-game run, is that our biggest problem is that we've been able to kind of compete a little bit with those teams that are above us, but we fuck ourselves up and shoot ourselves in the foot by not being able to take the points from the teams that we should be being able to take them from. All of a sudden, you're going to Brighton and you're thinking, oh, fuck, Brighton. The fuck, that shouldn't be like that, right? But we have been able to take the points off. That's why after Liverpool, my biggest fear is if we go to Newcastle and don't get 3 points, that's a big failure. Because again, we should be able to get 3 points there. Today, I felt at least a draw. Maybe on a good day with the gods in our favour, and I saw that first goal, the way it all went around, I thought, oh, maybe we get 3 points. So that's how I kind of feel. And if it wasn't for that run, I don't think I'd have been that confident today. Now I'm kind of thinking to myself, did I over-egg everything? Was I, but that's how the team got me.
I'm still thinking top 6. I'm still thinking top 6, Dan.
Minimum requirement.
Don't entertain the top 4, because I don't know about you two, but did you look at the league table this morning and think, oh yeah, Arsenal can climb into the top 4 here? And did it feel like foreign territory to us? Felt like foreign to me to think about Arsenal in the top 4.
For me, it's a minimum requirement. Top 6 as from the beginning of this season, after finishing back-to-back 8th. This season for me is minimum requirement Europa League, not the one below the Europa League, that Europa fucking rubber tires, whatever it is. The Europa League, that's the minimum.
The dreaded conference.
If we can sneak into the Champions League, overachievement. Round of applause. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had when I kind of went through it, and I had us, 5 through 7. So I know we don't want 7, but we need to show some improvement in the table. Now, the only way we can do this is if we move up the table. So
didn't it feel like you were getting like I'm afraid of heights? Like the dizzy heights of 4. It felt foreign to me. which Ray.
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about West Ham. They had an opportunity to go in the third and they didn't. So I mean, yeah,
Vertigo.
maybe, yeah,
that
Vertigo.
was a
yeah.
nice vertigo. Yeah, that nice
Yeah.
result. Shall we talk about the games then real quickly? West Ham are at home to Chelsea, first game of the weekend. Chelsea are going to take care of business. West Ham are sliding. We'll have another opportunity to get above West Ham on Monday. Agree? Disagree?
I
Go on,
I'm
Gary.
at, I was gonna say at this point, I don't want to be depending on other teams to fall to us. We need to go out there and do our business, and then I'll see whatever people are doing. Because today was the day we could have gotten a point at least out of it and stay on the same level with West Ham in terms of points. So, but I kind of feel like, yeah, I mean,
Okay, let's see.
Chelsea's on the road. West Ham has shown that they can compete with the big boys, right? They can compete with Liverpool, then they can compete with Chelsea to some degree, right?
So
Chelsea's not, yeah.
Reddy is saying we could be 8 by Sunday night. I'm looking at we're on 23 points, and Brighton's on 19, so they can't get above us in 9th place. Okay, so you got Tottenham on 22, Man United 21, Wolves 21. Those are the 3 teams that could drop us 3 places. So let's look at those. I don't think West Ham's going to win. I think Chelsea are going to beat West Ham. The other Tottenham are playing Norwich City. They could possibly get a win there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be important for us to beat Everton on Monday. And Tottenham have sort of creeped up into contention here in 6th place. Man United are playing Crystal Palace at home. You would think that's the Ralph Ragnick coming out party there. Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira will have to go there and try and help us. And then you've got Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are playing at home to Liverpool. I don't think Wolves will beat Liverpool.
No.
Right?
I think with West Ham, they've been quite plucky. I would actually maybe go as far as saying slightly overachieving, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but at some point they're going to hit a wall, and then some of those points will be clawed back, I feel, because when you look at the depth of their squad and he needs to rotate, you're bringing in someone like Mark Noble who can run for like 10 minutes and then he needs a chair. So they don't have the squad, I think, to really cope with maintaining where they are. So I feel that points from West Ham will be clawed back.
We'll be checking back in with Charlie. We're going to have Charlie on a podcast in a couple of weeks. I've already talked to him about it. So West Ham, that's one we're looking at in 2 or 3 games from now. And that will be solidifying between us and them. And we want to get back above them. You know what I mean? Back to the way things should be. But yeah, I think maybe Man United or Tottenham are the ones who could jump above us this weekend. Tottenham playing Norwich at home, and United at home to Crystal Palace. But I don't see Wolverhampton Wanderers beating Liverpool. Newcastle, Burnley, nothing kind of games, relegation dogfight there. Southampton at home to Brighton. That'll be an interesting game. Southampton, Brighton. Graham Potter, is that his name? Graham Potter. I know it's Potter.
Yep.
He's getting some guff from his from Brighton. Their fans are feeling more entitled, like Arsenal fans, I guess. And then Aston Villa at home to Leicester. That'll be an interesting tie as well.
Yeah, I think Leicester are going to be on a little bit of an upturn. Not only with Steven Gerrard, but they have had a lot of players out that are coming back.
Villa.
And, yeah.
I mean Villa.
Yeah, and there's one player that they signed that we were linked with a couple of seasons ago that I was always hoping that we would be able to get, and that's the Jamaican player Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
He's just coming back from an injury, and you could see some good stuff coming from him. And I think Steven Gerrard as well. I think he's going to do well for them. And even though he was with Rangers and it's a lesser league, right? At the end of the day, Steven Gerrard has now had the experience of knowing how to work a team through a season and win, and then maintain it. How to keep your players interested. All the little nuances of how to win a league, how to react with players, when to take players out. He's been doing it now for up there in Scotland, and that can only be a good thing for his education. Even though it's a lesser league, it's such a great insight for him to have had.
In a way, this is Rangers versus Celtic in the Premier League. It's Aston Villa versus Leicester. It's Steven Gerrard versus Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's Rangers versus Celtic. So take a little bit of that Scottish old firm into the Premier League. That'll be a little bit interesting. 13th versus 10th in Leicester. Gary, they've kind of both those teams have underperformed, and we thought at the start of the season they would be our main rivals, Aston Villa, Leicester.
But we've
19 points, Leicester, 16 points, Villa. So, they're Leicester's 4 points off of us.
Yeah, but I mean we've gotten both of them, right? So
Yeah, and Tony stepped away. He wanted to have a conversation about goal difference, but if you're not here, you don't get to play, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Leeds versus Brentford, Gary, 15th versus 12th.
Oof.
I'm jumping around a little bit here.
Yeah. No, I am. You said Leeds versus Brentford, huh?
And Leeds have only won 3 games out of 14. So.
No, it's probably going to be It could be a good game. I mean, it could be a good game there. And where is it at? It's at.
It's at Leeds. So
Leeds. Okay.
Obviously, West Ham Chelsea. The first game of the weekend is going to be a good one.
Yep.
Highlights then: Wolves Liverpool could be a tasty game. I think Southampton Brighton will be interesting with Hasenhüttl. I think he's got them playing again. Watford versus City.
Yeah.
Watford have been unlucky against Chelsea.
Yeah, that Watford team is they play. They've been playing. They have a style of play that allows them to at least stay in matches and give people at least a little bit of a threat, right? So, and that's kind of where we are not. We're not there. We don't have we can't play a style that we can actually allow us to control the match and get what we want out of it. It doesn't always work, but until we get to that point, this is what we're going to see. So yeah, and this is, is it the manager? Is it the fact that they've been there for a lot longer? Been managing for a lot longer? I'm not sure, but we need to get there sooner than later. Yeah, like I said, I'm disappointed with everything right now. So, not one person or one thing is to blame. It's just a total system failure to me.
Yeah. Is now a good time? We're going to play a Kahoot game pretty soon whenever Tony gets back from the John. Now, understand Tony had an amputation, so things are a little bit difficult for him, but hopefully he's doing okay. He's taking care of business there. Spend a penny, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to play a game of Kahoot pretty soon. So I think 6, 7 people watching. Maybe a couple of us will play as well. Let me know if you're down. Download the Kahoot app to play. Rady was in there last week. I think. Who won last week? It was Tony. Tony won last week.
Oh, I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was Matt.
Rady or Matt won. Yeah, Matt won the second game on Sunday. So we're gonna play again in a little bit. Matt said we're all like Sesame Street characters, Gary. So does that make you and I Bert and Ernie?
Seems like it. I don't know which one. Which one of them?
So let me know, people in the chats, if I'm not going to be playing Ray Anderson, so I'll be hosting.
Yeah, I might have to leave, so I'm not going to play because I don't know when I'm going to have to leave.
All right. Stan, you going to play Kahoot in a little bit?
I've got the app.
There you go. That's a start. So yeah, are we Bert and Ernie? Matt wanted to talk about this. We said we'd have a little segment. Who is your favorite panelist's Sesame Street character? Stan.
My favorite Sesame Street character.
Wow. Who are you? Who, if you were
me?
yourself? to
I
Sesame
don't
Street
know.
character?
Maybe the Count.
Okay. Sam Greenwood probably has that one
Oh
boxed
yeah,
in.
Sam's probably the Count.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll let you think about it.
Grover?
Grover, yeah. I like that one. I like that one. Do you know who Oscar is? A little bit. This guy. Not there. Not there. This guy. Yeah. Tony's Oscar the Grouch, right? Gary's reluctant to be Bert.
I don't know which one is the one that upsets the other one. So
Oh
that's
my.
where
I'm Ernie then.
Oh my.
there's yeah. So I don't know which one. I don't
Oh,
know.
I could be Big Bird. I'm wearing
Who
yellow.
was the?
So
Yeah.
I'm Big Bird.
Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Gary's reluctantly playing. Or not. Okay, Gary, since you're going to be going pretty soon, let's jump into the Everton game.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, and we will give you the code ready in a little bit. So Gary's not in a good mood today, and maybe losing 3-2. You know what? We all had a tinge of that this evening, today. Not feeling really good about the result. I understood it was a 50-50 game, and I think I tweeted something to the effect of, "Listen, I'm going to enjoy this season because I think we're West Ham. I think this season we're West Ham, and I think West Ham enjoyed last season because you know what? They didn't think they could achieve too much, and they just enjoyed their season. You know what I mean? Anyway, Everton, Gary, what do you think? And somebody asks, what do you want to see at Everton, Gary?
What I want to see at Everton.
Apart
Well, I
from a
mean,
W.
they're their defense is worse than ours, so we should be able to score on them. So, we should be able to score on them. So, expecting us to get at least 2 goals against them. I still believe our defense is, probably is better than Everton's. So we should be able to get the win out there. Once again, 2-1 score line again for me. I don't even think Calvert is back, and I don't think Richarlison is back. So I think they're going to be missing. Right, they're not going to have any of their scoring threats.
They're still going to have injuries. Yeah.
So we should be able. So this is like the perfect situation for us to get in there and get the points because they don't have as much attacking threat as they've had in the past. And even if they did, they're going to be a little bit still rusty, right? Yeah, really. I said the same thing, but we should be able to get the win on this one. We should have learned from the last one. Yeah, our defense needs to be a little bit more solid. We need to put our foot on the gas, and if we do get the go ahead early, we need to finish them off.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? Why not?
I
think we can do that.
Tony, we're going to go in. We're going to play the Kahoot game now. So everybody get ready. I'm going to give you the PIN number, and I won't be. Who's the Sesame Street or that character you're liking to me that's been scattered? I won't be scattered tonight. I can do this. All right, so I'm gonna share the screen. Here we go, and I will give you the PIN.
Are you gonna share the screen? There you go.
I got this. This is easy.
I won't even read that. Oh.
What do you think? I have eyes of an eagle, Ray?
Huh?
Do you think I have eyes of an eagle?
Oh yeah, shit. Okay. So what I have to do is take banners off. Wow, I'm really bad at this still. Okay.
You said you had your shit together, Ray. You lied to me. What's my pen, Ray? You got my pen at least?
Yeah. See, now you're putting me off here. There we go. Hold on a second.
Sounds like a Nintendo 64 game soundtrack.
See that, Gary?
Yeah. Gary gone?
Says in the chat he's got to go. He's got to pick up his daughter from the airport.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I'm going to put it in the chats, okay? 3394098.
Right, you sound like Boris Johnson, apparently.
I got the 339 part down.
I sound like Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Here we go.
Ready. At least it says I'm in, whether it's true or that's a different story.
Nothing's happening.
Okay. Stan's in. Andy is in. Who's Andy?
So what's the rules, quickly? What's the deal here? Is it the first one to answer, or as long as you answer, you get a point? Or is it like a time thing?
You have
It's
to
based
be,
on time and answer.
So the
time
first one
and
in
correct
get the most points.
Correct answer and time.
I see.
And we have 4 entrants right now. Tony, Rids, Andy, and Stan.
Who's Andy?
Ray Anderson, hopefully.
Maybe.
Ray Anderson, yeah.
If there you
All right.
admit it to it.
We'll give everybody another
Yeah.
minute and then we'll get started.
Last post, the horses are just getting into the gates. So you've still got time to put a bet on. Last post.
Bring your
You've got
ticket
time
to the
put a bet on.
window. Bring your ticket to the window. Ray sounds like Boris Johnson. That was
Is that
Rich.
another job you had, Stan? Did you work at a...
Why? Is he
Boris Johnson.
it says Ray sounds like Boris Johnson. I'm like, why? Is he constantly taking the fucking piss? That's what Boris is doing at the minute.
Yeah. All right.
Jesus.
We're going to 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. You ready?
Okay.
It's loading.
Stan making his debut. 3, 2, 1. From what team did Arsenal sign Tavares? Braga, Benfica, Boa Vista, Porto. Color-coded answers.
I got it wrong. I do it right.
Using your app, your Kahoot app. All right, 3 correct answers. And Tony got it wrong.
I got it right. I
You
thought
got
I
it right. Dan got it wrong.
I thought it came from Charlton. No? Oh.
No, it wasn't one of the options.
Ah, okay. I'm like, where's Charlton?
Are you what do you call those pool players who's just like pretending to be bad? You're a hustler. You're a hustler.
He's a hustler. Let's have him.
Here's
Like
the
I
next
usually
one.
do.
13. Name this former Arsenal player. Koscielny, Monreal, Ramsey, or Ceballos. And you'll see a picture of him. Name this former Arsenal player. 4 correct answers. Nacho Monreal. Tony's in the lead. Stan, you got some work to do. Tony's 18-12. Rids 1664, Andy 1541, Stan 935. Got to be quick, Stan.
I know. Was that Porto? That's what I chose
And it
before.
sucks
Against
'cause
which, against
I'm
which
delayed,
team
too.
did Lacazette score a late equalizer this season? Against which team did Lacazette score a late equalizer this season?
Gray
Three
likes
correct,
blue today.
3 correct answers for Crystal Palace. Whoever picked Aston Villa, sorry.
Did really pass me?
Reds has 3 in a row, but you're still in the lead, Tony. Stan, you picked Aston Villa. How could you, Stan? You were the one that was. Remember what you were talking about.
My finger slipped on my screen.
Oh, okay.
So, you know what I mean? So,
Stan, you'll have
Too
another
much
opportunity.
Vaseline on your fingers there, Stan.
Stan, I'm not saying you have no chance, but you'll have another opportunity to play on Sunday. I'm not saying you're out of the game, but all it points to that. Which team did Arsenal sign Ben White from? Leeds United, Sheffield United, Brighton, or West Brom? Which team did Arsenal sign Ben White from? 3 correct answers for Brighton, 1 incorrect answer
Brady's
for
in the
West
lead now,
Brom.
probably.
Who picked West Brom? Stan got some points. Andy picked West Brom, I think. Maybe it was Tony. Tony
I
had
went
got
for first.
third.
I fucked up. I went for first to third.
5th question. How many league titles has Arsenal won? How many league titles has Arsenal won? 13, 10, 11, 12. How many league titles has Arsenal won? 3 correct answers of 13, an incorrect answer of 11. Stan picked 11. Name and shame here. Name and shame. Rids has a streak of 5. Tony. Andy, you're right in there. Ray
Doesn't
Anderson.
help. My phone's like 2
I'm
seconds
just like hitting
behind.
a colour really quickly.
And my
That's how I
phone's
used to
like
get.
2
That's how I
seconds
got by at
behind.
school, right? I used to go to multiple choice like at school, and I wouldn't even fucking read it. I'd just be like, right, it's multiple choice. The first answer was always A to settle you in. A. Right,
Yeah.
question 2. Don't even read it. Right, question 2.
Um,
It's another A. It's another
The
A.
next one, I'm gonna have you write your name in the next quiz because that's you get a certain amount of points just for writing your name on there, Stan. You know.
Question 3 in multiple choice. Never going to be another A. Will be B.
Which team has Thomas Partey scored against this season? Which team has Thomas Partey scored against this season? Didn't do it tonight. Leicester City, Tottenham, Wigan, or Aston Villa? Correct answer of Aston Villa. We're sorting the men from the boys here. Two correct answers, Aston Villa.
Me and Stan aren't doing too well here.
I'm just guessing. I forget
Well,
things like that. I really do forget like who scored at what time and all that. Never been my thing.
It's okay for panel members to beat the chat room as well. This is like chat room versus panel, and chat room's winning here. Rids in the
We're getting
lead.
our ass kicked.
I thought you told us to let the chat room win, Ray. You said
Yes.
that? Oh.
Ray Anderson,
The jockeys pulled me up.
300 points, 7 of 13. What was the result last season against Everton away from home?
I fucking could not tell you.
What was the result last season
What
against
colour do
Everton
I
away?
like?
Rob Holding was the captain.
Let's
2-1
pick a colour.
defeat, 2-1 win, 1-1 draw, 0-0 draw. 2 correct answers, 2-1 defeat. Whoever picked 2-1 wins, whereas incorrect. Remember, Rob Holding was the captain. Pepe scored a penalty.
It's not fun when I have a fucking like 3-second delay here.
Ray Anderson's hanging in there behind Reds. Tony and Stan. Stan's going to get relegated here. He's bottom of the list. 8th question. Which Arsenal player scored away at Old Trafford last season? Which Arsenal player scored away at Old Trafford last season? Lacazette, Pepe, Aubameyang, or El Neni? Two correct answers of Aubameyang, 1 person went for Pepe, 1 person went for Lacazette.
Don't you dare tell everyone that I went for Pepe. Oh, fuck.
I think you just announced it yourself.
Or that I went for Lacazette.
Wrong answers. Well, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Remember the penalty. You remember the penalty. 400, almost 400 points between Ray and Rids. Anderson has the highest answer streak of 8, but it's also speed as well, Ray. Here we go.
It sucks when you have a 3-second delay, Ray.
9 out of 13. Which team was not Michael Carrick's former club? Which team was not Michael Carrick's former club? Manchester United, Newcastle,
Oh,
Tottenham.
bollocks. I pressed the wrong one by accident.
What was the answer, Stan?
Newcastle.
Newcastle is correct. He's played for United, he's played for Tottenham, and he's played for West Ham. It's quite easy to think, being a Geordie, he might have played for Newcastle. 1 person got that correct.
I thought they were like, what his former club before the last one that he played for. That's what I thought they were saying. Do you know what I mean?
Ray Anderson, congratulations. You have gone into the lead. Rids is a formidable opponent. So you're doing very, very well. Here we go. Number 10. Name this former Man United and Arsenal player. Theo Walcott, Danny Welbeck, Andy Cole, Mark Bright. Name this former Manchester United and Arsenal player.
I bet you Stan gets this one right.
Theo, Danny, Andy Cole, Mark Bright.
Is that Silvestre?
Sylvester.
Yeah, that's one as well, but he wasn't an option. Danny Welbeck, 4 correct answers. Ray Anderson's hanging in there in the lead. Stan's getting better. Your points are improving, Stan, but your position will not. Ray has a streak of 10. 11 of 13, 3 questions left. Name a team Kieran Tierney has scored against. Sheffield United, Everton, Watford, Liverpool. Name a team Kieran Tierney has scored against. Sheffield United, Everton, Watford, or Liverpool. Technically, there's 2 correct answers, but the one I was looking for last season.
Oh, why didn't you say that? You could have specified that there, right?
Sheffield United is the correct answer. That goal. Stan got that one right.
Do you know, I'm noticing that every time I do get one right, I'm getting the same points every time.
It's because you're a slow.
I'm always getting it.
My phone's slow.
If you get it right, I'm always last.
I'm getting the answers like 3 seconds after you ask the question.
Ray Anderson has approximately 340-point lead from Rids. 12 of 13.
Ray's in cahoots with cahoots.
Name Mikel Arteta's first win as a coach. Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, or Everton. Arteta's first win as a coach. Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Everton. 2 correct answers, Manchester United. It looks like I'm making the questions more difficult, which is a good thing.
Looks like you're making them up.
I think he's
Ray
about
back in the lead. Ray Anderson going into the last question. Rids has a lead of about 500 points. So you got to be quick, Ray. There we go. 13 of 13. What was the result of Arsenal's home game last season versus Man United on January 31st?
I have no idea.
What was the result of Arsenal's home game last season versus Manchester United on January 1st? Of course, it was a 0-0 draw. Whoever answered that correctly is the winner. 0-0 draw. Tony is 3rd place. Ray Anderson, 2nd. And Rids takes the top spot. 11 of 13 for Rids. 10 of 13 for Ray Anderson. And 6 out of 13 for Tony. So there we go.
I call shenanigans.
A little bit of fun there. A little bit of fun. Right?
I've just deleted that app from my phone.
Yeah, you're sick of it now, right? You're just sick of it.
I'm a fucking bad loser, man. But anyway, moving on.
Sorry. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Let's quickly. Congratulations, Reds. Good job. Yeah,
Well
a
done,
couple of
mate.
tricky ones in there. What was the toughest question, Stan?
All of them.
All right, Tony. What
Me
was
and
the toughest?
me and Stan don't remember that stuff.
You
Here's
can
a tune of
actually
last
go.
year's result.
You can actually
Scored
play
who?
this if you go on YouTube, search Kahoot Live. They'll give you codes on Kahoot Live. You can actually play this game outside of here. But come back.
I do pretty well on the happy hour on Lolo's channel, but the questions aren't just all Arsenal, like scores and what player, what foot did
Well,
he score? What foot did he score the goal with?
I
And
might I
times
might
I do
open
pretty
it up.
well in that, but
I might open it up to more Premier League, but it will favor some rather than others. You know what I mean? So,
there's even a dad joke section in there.
Ray Anderson said normally I come in last in Kahoot games. So you played this before, Ray. Good stuff. Thanks, Ray. Great questions again, except the Kieran Tierney one.
I think Ray's in cahoots with Kahoot.
Technically, he scored against Watford. I realized that he scored against Watford the season that Bern Leno and Aubameyang had great seasons. Strangely, we'll have a quick word about Bern Leno. Strangely, he wasn't named. Did you
Tight
notice?
thigh, tight groin, Ray.
Oh, he's injured. Okay, all right.
Yeah, tight groin.
Here's me thinking he's put his transfer.
Haven't you had a
request
tight
in.
groin before?
Yes.
Stan might have one right now.
So what do we want to see against Everton, Stan?
3 points.
Win. Number one, a win, right?
Well, they need to make sure that they don't come out feeling sorry for themselves, and they need to get back to the vein of form in that 10-game run, because I think again that this is a match that we should be taking points from. They're in disarray at Everton. That's not a steady ship at all. I spent loads of money, most of it on players that ain't up to scratch, to be honest. So we should be able to go there like thieves in the night and leave with 3 points in the bag, and that before they even wake up in the morning like that with 3 points missing.
I love that, like thieves in the night. So if you're gonna caption a song for this game, I'm gonna go with Wilson Phillips. Hold on for one more game, Rafa. Hold on for one more game. He'll probably get fired after this game if we beat him. But Rafa Benitez has not improved Everton at all.
Nope. I think his time's passed. I don't think Rafa can do what he used to be able to do.
So we have the
Time
long
for him
run.
to hang up his boots, Ray.
Stan. Time for Rafa to hang up his boots. Stan, is it the manager or is it the players? If you take Everton as a case in point.
Both.
Rafa's a good manager.
They spent a lot of money, ain't they? Though they have spent a lot of money over the last few seasons, and they rolled the dice and done stuff like bringing in James Rodriguez. It just didn't work. It was a lad that they brought in from Chelsea. What's his name? I can't remember his name now. But they've spent a lot of money. If you look back, they haven't been shy in the market, and it's just not worked out for them. So I don't think it's going to be long before you're going to see Duncan Ferguson back in as the caretaker manager, trying to eat the linesman, the referee, and the opposition from the sideline. That's on the cards, right? They're going to have to do something.
That would be a hell of a. So Stan, have you seen?
And here's the thing, though. Rafa's supposed to be the guy that comes in to steady the ship. That's usually what he's quite good at, and it's not really worked. So I think that there's a possibility that they may try to hang on until the January transfer window. However, they may be forced into doing something if it gets to be really drastic, because big investment has been made, not with Rafa, but the bigger picture. So, while they're in disarray and hopping from one foot to the next, we should just nip in, get the 3 points, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, like ninjas. Ready? Yeah, I'll see if I can get Sam squared away for Sunday and bring him in play as well. This should be fun. Stan, Gary as well. If we get all five of us plus me, and the chat room. Sunday's generally a little bit more people involved
What's
as
that
well.
for?
Tony, the Kahoot game. Be 11
I deleted the app. I'm not joking. One and done, mate. Good luck. I'll be watching from the chat room.
I thought you were joking, Stan.
No. I'm a terrible loser. That's why I only play FIFA career mode, because if I played like against other people, the amount of televisions and controllers I would be going through, my missus would leave me.
Yeah, you.
That's why Stan never ended up playing me on FIFA.
Don't break your laptop. Don't smash the screen of the laptop in. Don't be like that. Don't be that Stan.
You want to see me at Trivial Pursuit, man, find them fucking little cheesy wedges around.
I got to play Battleships with you one day, Stan. Battleships, that'll be the game. That'll be the game. Yeah, so listen, did you see, can you imagine Duncan Ferguson squaring up the Klopp on the sideline? I want to see that.
I could imagine Duncan Ferguson squaring up to the Incredible Hulk.
I want to see that.
You don't care.
I thought Robertson, did you see the Liverpool game, Liverpool-Everton game? Salah is on fire. I thought Robertson was very lucky to stay on the field on a yellow card, 2-1 down, and Robertson makes a foul, gets away with it. Liverpool break on poor old Seamus Coleman miscontrolled the ball. We had a couple of games like that. Chelsea with what's their midfielder, Jorginho. He couldn't control the ball. It was a Gary Owen up into the air. If you're familiar with rugby, interesting. But yeah, Everton are piss poor, and we need to go to Goodison Park and win there.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. As I say, no feeling sorry for ourselves. We need to pick up the slack again and start another run of games.
Yeah. So listen, Rafa Masterclass coming up on Monday. I do hope not really. Tony, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about Chelsea on Sunday because we're going to be starved of an Arsenal game. We will have the discussion about goal differential now. You want to go ahead, Tony?
I'll start with Everton since we're talking about them.
Since he studied, Stan, so we're going to sit back, fold our arms like this, and be enlightened by Tony's research.
I went all the way back to 2003, 2004. In 2004, Everton's the only team that's finished in the top four with a negative differential. And besides that, Everton once had a 0 goal differential, and they finished 7th. And that's the highest the team's finished with a negative goal differential. It usually averages out about 9th place is where the negative comes in, and there's usually a few teams below that still have positives, but they just suck ass and they get enough points.
Mm-hmm. So Stan, if you to Tony's point, if you look at goal difference, and okay, we know the top three, right? They're
skyrocketing.
They're like California. One day there's going to be an earthquake, and they'll just like disappear off into the ocean in their own island. Like Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are their own entity. They're just breaking away from the rest of us, and it's the rest of us is West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United right now. There's a big gap there. Look at the goal difference. So Chelsea, City, and Liverpool have 20 plus goal difference. It gets to West Ham, they've got +8. Then Arsenal.
Liverpool has 31, right? Come on.
Yeah, Liverpool have 31. Man City have the lowest at 21, but it's still a great goal differential after 12 games. A lot of the other teams that are chasing them, Stan, have negative goal difference. It's because the top three are just beating up on everyone, right?
Well, we haven't got a striker, have we, for a start?
Yeah.
So, we're kind of missing out on a lot of key goals.
Tottenham haven't got a striker either.
We're so lucky that we've got other players in the team now that are able to start chipping in with goals. And I do remember reading recently that at the end of last season, one of the key things that they sort of sat down to tell ESR was, when you get into the final third, start trying to take a shot more at goal and maybe looking to put another player in because you're getting yourself into good positions. Sounds like he kept his ears open and took that on board. But we're missing that fine edge at the top, and that's probably going to hurt us when it could. Again, a match like today, if we miss out in Europe by 1 point, we could be looking at a game like today. Later on in the season, if we don't make changes up top, we could find ourselves missing out on something by goal difference.
Now,
It would be terrible.
I looked back at this, and because there's 38 games in the season, goal difference very, very rarely comes into play, Stan.
Yeah.
For your actual placing, especially in the top 6, 7 places. But right now, it's a difference because you've only played 14 games, 1/3 of the season. But it is a definite concern. You're saying our main striker's only got 4 goals in, let's say, 12, 13 games. And Emile Smith-Rowe's got more than him now at 5. It's a real concern, right?
It is, yeah. Of course it is. He's
nice to see our
he's
midfield
supposed to be
scoring
the main
finally.
man.
Go ahead, Tony.
Says nice to see our midfield's finally scoring. I remember 2 years ago when we only had 2 goals from the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, the technique for Emile Smith-Rowe, we talked about it earlier, but that technique to get over the ball, control it, and put the ball in the net, and with the freaking referee in the way as well, that wasn't easy for Emile Smith-Rowe today. Ray Anderson said, other than Wolves and United, everyone else outside top 4 have a negative goal difference. And United have a 0 right now. They've scored as many as they've conceded. Wolves have scored as many as they have conceded as well. So there's a lot of negative goal difference. So, Tony, did you want to pull this apart a little bit more? Or?
Yeah, that's deep enough for now.
I thought you did a lot of research.
I did, but we're 2 hours and 20-some minutes in.
Let's have a quick discussion about possible strikers. Who would you go for, Stan? Got anybody on your mind?
I've not got any particular person in my mind, but the profile, I would love to have someone like Jamie Vardy, but about 3 to 4 years younger than where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the style of player that I would love to have. Because he can do a little bit of everything. I'm not sure who that player is. There's a couple of names out there that people are looking at. The one that I wanted is no longer available. So,
who's that?
Edouard, who went to Crystal Palace. I thought he was someone that might have been able to come in and take a place in the squad.
I wanted Martinez from Inter Milan, who I wanted.
But I don't think I'd love to have that, but I just don't ever see that ever happening.
Yeah,
I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. But I would love to see Lautaro Martinez come in. But I'm not even consider it because that would be, for me, it's a bit pie in the sky. So I'm a little bit unsure of the name, but I'm more kind of got an idea.
It's got to be. We say, and we're going to wrap it up now in a minute. We say we need a Frankenstein of Aubameyang and Lacazette, someone who can hold the ball up, but it also has aerial presence and a little bit of speed.
Supposedly, our number 1 target right now is between 72 and 80 million. I can't pronounce his name for shit, so I won't even.
That's not Vlahovic or something, isn't it?
Hassan Vlahovic.
What about Ivan Toney from Brentford? I mean, he's not there yet.
No, I'm not convinced.
Don't like him at all. If he gets a season of Premiership football under his belt, he becomes accustomed to the league. Would he not be an option?
We need somebody world class now, Ray. We don't need a project.
Calvert-Lewin.
I don't think I want to do him, probably.
All right, we'll revisit this. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to revisit this anyway.
I'd rather look at someone like an Ollie Watkins over a Calvert-Lewin.
Okay.
If we're looking kind of closer to home, but I do think that if we're going to rebuild at the top, and we're going to rip up Aubameyang and Lacazette, which is what I would like us to do in the long run, I think that the profile that we need to bring in is that we need to be bringing in a striker who's somewhere between 26 to 28. You know what I mean? Minimum of 26-year-old, approaching 29 as his maximum. And I'd like that player to be a player that's played in more than one league and has had an opportunity to win some things. and will be coming into the team to be quite vocal as well as scoring goals. You know, who's been in a couple of different divisions and different leagues or whatever, bit of an experience, who's a little bit, you know, been around a bit and knows to score. The other striker, I'd like him to be around about 24 years old.
Yeah,
You know,
because
promising.
we need to bridge the gap between our experienced strikers and the Balogun who's just
Yeah.
starting out.
Someone who's promising, maybe coming off of the back of a really good season, you know,
Yeah.
and we're going to go with that person and give them the step up at Arsenal. So that's where the sort of profile that I would be looking for, but
Um,
I'm not sure on names yet, to be honest.
So, yeah, Stan, what are you having? You're going to have dinner now. You're going to have supper, so I'll let you go. What are you having? What's on the table tonight? What's getting cold right now?
Stan
And
hasn't had kebab in a while. I haven't
Yeah,
had
it's not-
Greg mention it.
final thoughts on the
It's
game.
not kebab tonight, unfortunately, Tony.
Aw.
And you know what that means. Mrs. is having an early night. She's got to get up early for a Zoom call, so it's probably going to be chicken wings.
All right, good stuff. And any final thoughts on the game tonight, or where you feel Arsenal are right now? Where you are?
I'm disappointed, but I'm not making an Ateta out banner to wave
Not
out
just
the window. Do you know what I mean? I'm disappointed. I felt that we could have got something out of that game, and even when we got up to 2-2, I was still like thinking that we might get something, and I'm disappointed that we didn't. Now what I'm looking for is that bounce back now on Monday. I don't want to see this game like as some sort of a hangover. You know, there's a couple of changes that need to be made for me. A couple of players need to be taken out for a little bit. They need to earn their way back in.
All right.
I'm looking at perhaps Aubameyang, Partey, and Tavares. I think Kieran Tierney is probably worth now an opportunity to come back in. So that's who I am, and hopefully the next time that we're talking about the first win in another run.
Yeah, exactly. Stan, thanks for joining us tonight. Enjoy the supper, and I'll finish up with Tony here.
Thanks for having me, and I just want to say goodbye to everyone in the chat box.
Enjoy your chicken wings.
If you delete an app, you can always reinstall it. You know that, right?
Not Stan. Stan's a stubborn guy.
I thought he was shitting me. I thought he was joking.
No, man, that app's well gone. Do you know what I mean? I'm too old to get worked up, so I just that's not
Ready,
thanks for having me on. Take care.
Ready. Tony and I are going to stay on for a couple more minutes, but cheers, Stan.
Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks. So, Tony, listen, the thing about our run of 8 games unbeaten in the Premier League was we beat a lot of teams in the lower echelons of the Premier League, right? Yeah, the teams we should beat. And you're sort of saying to me, we've been lucky, and we rode the crest of being lucky. Isn't it good enough to just win the games that you're supposed to win?
No, because like I told you yesterday, this game was a must-win to me. Our fixtures are crowding up. We don't have very much depth. We're going to be playing pretty good teams. So we could fall down the table pretty good. It's not inconceivable on Christmas Day we could be 9th or 10th.
As it happens, we're going to be playing Everton. They're presently 14th place. Then Southampton, 16th place. West Ham, we know, are 4th. Leeds are 15th. So we're going to play 3 of these next 4 fixtures against 14th, 15th, and 16th place teams.
And we need to win all 4 of them.
And then we got Norwich here right down the bottom, and Wolves. So West Ham and Wolves represent the 2 toughest games for us. But we should really be winning the other 4 games, especially Southampton at home and Norwich away.
What about around Boxing Day and 1st of January? Who are we playing?
1st of January, I think it is Tottenham. We play City 1st of January.
What about Boxing Day? Who we play Boxing Day?
Norwich. It's right there on the caption. So these 6 games are.
As I say, we're playing them on Boxing Day there, right?
They're taking us till the end of the year.
Okay.
these 6 games. I'll show you the New Year fixtures. So going into 2022, it'll be Happy New Year, everybody. Wish you a great New Year. And we start with City at home
During AFCON time.
during AFCON. And you know what? I was just thinking about that. We are going to have what we want. We are going to have Aubameyang out of the team. We're going to have El Neni out of the team. We're going to have who else? Partey out of the team. So we're going to get to see maybe Lakonga, maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and maybe Martinelli up front. It's going to be a completely new team in January. This is what you're maybe fearing, but maybe we don't need to fear this. Maybe we need to embrace it. We're going to get a rehash, and you're going to get the best of the young players, and we're going to get a couple of decent players in there too. And of course, Pepe is going to be leaving too, Ray. And of course, he hasn't played in the last 5 or 6 games. So maybe this is something we want to see, Tony, in January. No Partey, no El Neni, no Pepe, no Aubameyang.
Yeah, but
Those are the players who are not performing so far.
that means we'll see Zaka.
Yes, and maybe he's the key.
We did go on a 10-game unbeaten run without him, so.
He started it all off with the win over Tottenham. Don't forget that.
Oh, sure. It was all him.
Night Stan. So Stan has tucked it into his chicken wings right now. It wasn't United goals, lucky too.
He didn't ask me what I'm having for dinner, Ray.
What are you having for dinner, Tony?
Pork steak.
Pork steak. So it's a steak, but it's pork.
It's like a giant pork chop, basically.
A giant lump of protein, which is good if you're diabetic, right? You get to eat a lot of protein.
Yep.
Wolves is the 29th. I'll check it out right now before we go. Right. It's right at the end. It's our last fixture of the year. Wolves is the 28th, right? So, the Wakanda signal, or it's the Granit Xhaka, or if you watch Hammer's chat, it's the Irons. You know what I mean? So listen, we'll leave it there, Tony. You're gonna go get your pork steak. You got to eat that tonight, right?
Yep.
You're hungry.
I'm not that hungry, but I need to
All
eat.
right. We will see everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. And we will hope you enjoy it on the way out. Validate your boarding pass. Hit that like button. If you're new around here and you're watching, it's free content. So all we ask is that you subscribe. Help us get to 500 subs. That's the next step for us. We're slowly building. Right, Tony? We're slowly building here.
I don't know what's taking us so long. We got good band or good.
We're a niche. We're a niche. We're an Arsenal podcast. We're a niche. We're a cult following.
We got very loyal viewers and commenters.
It's never been okay.
It's always been about the interaction for us.
It's never been about the numbers, but we would like to get to 1,000 eventually. But
it is about the numbers, Ray. We like the interaction. More interaction.
We like the interaction. So, Ray Anderson, thanks for joining us. Riddy, and who else was in here? Lots of other people were in here. Too many to mention. We will be back on Sunday. We'll have a game to preview. We won't have a game to review. Unless we want to rake over these colds again. I kind of want to put this in the rearview mirror. It's not a game we want to remember fondly, right, Tony?
Nope. I'm still pretty steamed and pissed. Steam coming out of my ears, probably still. It's one of Arteta's worst coaching jobs.
Ray Anderson started watching before 100 subscribers. And Ray, I remember, I think it was a Clock End podcast. I was talking to you. I was like, hey, come on over to Arsenal Fan Circle. Check it out. And been here ever since. And we appreciate each and every one of you who are with us.
I know I was watching when we were under 50.
If you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, why not? Hit hit the subscribe button. Help us get 500. Be part of a unique group here, and we will. Tony, you get the final word before we get out of here.
Yeah, get my final words. Let's see. Never be too busy for your family or friends. You never know when they'll need you. Don't take your health for granted, mentally or physically.
Mm.
Make sure you take care of that stuff. Make sure, don't be afraid to talk to your friends or family. Always have an ear out there for somebody that needs your help.
Hmm. I think very, very good words, very positive words, and also in these times, you never know. And if there's something that needs doing with your family, mending bridges, anything like that, don't wait too long. And yeah, appreciate each other. Ray Anderson said, "Yeah, Tony, so true. That is true." All right, we're getting out of here. Unfortunately, I titled this "We've Nothing to Fear But Fear Itself." Um, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but
I don't know.
we need to take that into Goodison Park and actually put a performance that's
I
going to
think
bring
that just means Arteta puts the
3
handbrake on us
points.
after we get up to a
BX
lead.
Gunner 81, great to see you still here as well.
He's back.
He's back. We did the Kahoot. Come back Sunday, we'll have another one. Until
I wonder
then,
how many beers he's into.
come on, you Gunners, up the Arsenal. We'll see you out there. Sunday.